Hey everyone, good morning. Welcome to the King Angel Show. Okay, we're just making sure. Yep, mic is on. Oh wait, I don't even have it in focus. There we go, wham bam. Good morning. And like I said, welcome to the King Angel Show. I'm King Angel, a San Francisco Bay Area live streamer and content creator here on YouTube and Twitch, also Facebook. How's it going? Happy Tuesday. Apologize for the delay. Had some things going on at the house. Your boy does have other responsibilities when it comes to, life in general and whatnot, and had to take care of some things with the cat and whatnot, and prevent him from misbehaving, and it just kind of took up my time. But here we are. Another day, another coffee, the news, and us. Another morning hangout. We're going to read some news, go down some rabbit holes, discuss some things, have some conversations. It's going to be wonderful. Happy to be here. As always, you know where to find me. I'm all across social media. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. If you want to further support me, you can use your Amazon Prime here on Twitch. That would help me immensely. You can subscribe to my channel. If not, you can just follow me. And that way it'll notify you when I go live. You can also like my videos on YouTube. Comment on them. Let me know what you think. I uploaded a video today. There's a video being uploaded every day from here to Friday at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So check them out. Let me know what you think. The one I uploaded today and tomorrow. Today's part 1. Tomorrow's part 2 of artists with their cats. It's the second part of the whole live stream because it's a pretty long one, but it's pretty interesting. I'd love for you to check it out. Let me know what you think, and share it out to your loved ones. And last but not least, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you can also hit that little bell notification if you want to know when my videos are uploaded, or when I go live as well. I think it'll notify you automatically or something, but whatever the case may be, subscribe to my channel. And if you want to further support me, you can join my Patreon community. It's $2 a month. That's you can find the link either in the description box of the live stream or in the About section of Twitch. You will be helping me out immensely. That goes directly to my survival as a human being. This is my bread and butter. I absolutely love what I do, and I have plenty of belief and faith in myself that I will be able to achieve all the goals that I've set for myself. And slowly but surely I am, but with your help I'll be able to achieve them even faster. One of the things I want to get is like a bigger green screen as well that actually comes down from the wall, as opposed to the one that I have, because I have one of the like basic circular ones that you put on the actual chair, which is fine for the moment, but I want to kind of get an upgrade. But nonetheless, that's down the road. By joining the Patreon community, you will be helping me out immensely, like I said before. Again, it's $2 a month. You get a whole bunch of benefits, full unedited episodes, plus the audio version of it. You also get review reaction videos that are exclusive to Patreon members. You get private Discord channels. You can vote on a poll that's on Patreon for the next topic that can be discussed here on Random Topic Day, which is first day tomorrow, then Thursday and Friday. I think maybe next week I might be integrating Coffee, the News, and Us, and Random Topic Day. Probably do like a half and half, so it can be equal time for both, because I do enjoy reading the news as well. Or maybe, I don't know, I was also thinking of trying out a week of merging them. So maybe doing an hour and a half of one and doing an hour and a half of the other. But if the topic that's discussed first is too interesting, it'll bleed into the other parts time. So if if whatever topic we're discussing on Coffee, the News, and Us is really interesting, it'll probably take up time from random topic day. So I don't want it to run that risk. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it, but definitely I'll try at least one day. Like Wednesdays would be the perfect day to be able to merge them both and do half and half and see how that works. So maybe we'll try it next week. I mentioned it yesterday. I also want to, at some point before like mid-June, dedicate a full episode to learning about dementia and Alzheimer's disease. All that stems from, loss of memory and how that occurs, why patterns that doctors have been able to see with, data that has been provided to them, like how it progresses and whatnot. I'm extremely interested in the subject because I am experiencing it myself, and I just thought, why not learn about it together? We would only be so lucky to reach that age given the current situation of the world. So I don't know, learning about it and being able to help out, in my case, a close family member, then I'm definitely going to do that. So join me on that journey. At least we'll do it one day to get the ball rolling, but I would like to talk about it one day, research it, discuss it. I'm trying to see if I can get someone I can interview, or maybe actual information being transmitted by a person in the moment live, as opposed to a recording or like watching a video or something. I don't know. Maybe it'll take me a little bit longer than the goal that I set for mid-June, but who knows? Let's see. We never know. I have high hopes that I'll be able to do it beforehand and get someone to interview, like maybe like a doctor or psychologist or something, or psychiatrist, someone experienced in the area that could be able to give us their 2 cents and deliver some knowledge about the topic, because that's extremely important. If you're kind of like my age, ranging kind of my age, 38, 37, 38, late 30s or something, you probably have family members that are already reaching the age. If they're not already elderly citizens like that, they're probably already reaching that age. You probably have grandparents, or you have, aunts and uncles, great aunts and uncles. I think that the love that we have for them should kind of push us towards wanting to learn more about how to better care for them, and not necessarily like care for them like you're there 24/7, but it requires a different type of approach that, I think that the best course of action should be to kind of learn about that aspect of it, like how to talk to elderly citizens that are experiencing this, or your family members, or friends, or whatever the case may be, or if you ever find yourself in a situation like that. It's a circle of life, because you kind of have to learn about that as well when you're having like kids and shit. Like, I don't have kids, but to those parents that do, I'm pretty sure you had to learn things to be able to, especially if it's like your first kid and whatnot. And that's what I mean by full circle, that how it just comes right back to that same point, but in the later stage of life. And it requires care and stuff, and you have to learn how to do it. It's not like treating, I guess it's not the same way you would treat someone else, like someone just like random or in your everyday life. So yeah, I'm gonna learn about it. and I hope you are interested in the topic as well, and you would join me. So, King Angel's Entertainment Lounge. You can join the Discord, and I will post that information there whenever it's available. Like once I know when that live stream is happening, if I'm able to get someone to interview, that would be awesome. People have really, especially doctors, have like really busy schedules and whatnot. But I don't know. Let's see. Something will happen. I'm pretty sure. But speaking of that same Discord, we watch movies, album listens. It's free. You can definitely join. I haven't been so active with the entertainment part because it's kind of like many times it's an echo chamber, I guess you can call it. If there's only one person, myself, watching something, I might as well just watch it on my own as opposed to like putting it on Discord, because I mean there's no one watching it with me. But if you join the Discord, I will assure you that I will step up my game again and start putting as many movies and documentaries and stuff. And you know, the whole point is the engagement and communication. Like obviously you can watch anything on your own, which is the same thing as like reaction videos or review videos and stuff, like the ones that I do. Sometimes I get comments on people that hate on me, and they'll say some weird shit like, oh, you like you're trying to reach fame, or you're trying to make it on YouTube by reviewing, like, for example, like movie trailers and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, that's like, I like doing that. That's like the whole thing. But I don't know, people don't like, other people find it rude that you like watch other people's videos and stuff. I don't know. All I know is that I am looking forward to that Discord being a lot more active, and again, with your help, we'll make that happen. Again, I used to be a lot more active on it, but just being there alone watching something, it sucks. The whole point is the engagement and the communicating part of it, which is why I mentioned like the reaction videos and whatnot, because those same videos that people are reacting to, that people complain about, you could watch it on your own. Like the original video is there, but the whole point is seeing how other people view things as opposed to your opinion, like if it matches yours, or if whatever they're saying you disagree with, or you know, that's the magic of it. Because the video exists, you can just watch it and you can enjoy it on your own, and you can repeat it as many times as you want. But the opinion part of it, you know, people giving their own 2 cents into what they think about it, that's like the core of it all. And if there isn't that engagement, I don't know, it just feels a little it's like an echo chamber. I'm dead serious. So again, Discord's completely free. You can join the King Angel's Entertainment Lounge. You can find that link in the description box, in the about section. I'll post it on chat as well. And let's watch something. If I get some people in today, we'll watch a horror movie tonight. A horror movie or two over on Discord. There's a specific channel for it. And yeah, we'll have some fun. I love horror movies. The horror genre is my thing. I mean, I love true crime, documentary, science, art, but horror films, it's just chef's kiss. Even the bad ones, even the really bad, shitty ones, even if it's for like a quick laugh, or like at least at the very minimum some sort of form of entertainment, or a topic of discussion of how bad that movie was, it's worth watching. As opposed to like other genres that have like really shitty movies, horror movies, they have like a particular zest to it, because even if it's like really, really, really bad and low budget, you, again, at least at the bare minimum, you can laugh at it, and you can still have a good time watching it. It'll still suck, and you can admit that, but well, it's a little more passable and a little bit more palpable than watching like a shitty action movie, like those, they just leave a really bad taste in your mouth because you're like, I'm wasting my time watching this crap. But a really bad horror film, you did waste your time, but you at least at least you can chuckle, or you can kind of make fun of the fact that the movie was as bad as it was. Crazy. So yeah, just going quickly through it. Just remember, you can find me all across social media. $2 a month for that Patreon community. You can use your Amazon Prime on Twitch. That will help me out immensely. Join the Discord, King Angel's Entertainment Lounge. And last but not least, before I start, I want to just say thank you to everyone for their continuous support. You coming into my stream, either chatting, lurking, means the world to me, because time is very precious, time is very valuable, and we have a limited amount of it. And the fact that you're spending even 1 second of your time watching me, even to criticize me, means a lot, because that boosts up my content on whatever platform. It also helps out with the algorithm, and also pushes me to want to improve a lot more and consistently find better ways to entertain you. So thank you very much. I appreciate you guys, and let's go ahead and let's change over to the other screen, and we'll start today's Coffee, the News, and Us, another morning hangout. I thought today we would start off with some Google News. I found this a little interesting. Let me see. Do they have a video? But it probably has that copyright music on it. So this is a press release from May 16th. It was released today. This is from Apple.com. And it says, Apple introduces new features for cognitive accessibility, along with live speech, personal voice, and point and speak in magnifier. Nice. All aimed at giving a lot more accessibility to all those that are not able to properly use their devices. It's wonderful. So it says, Apple today previewed software features for cognitive, vision, hearing, and mobility accessibility, along with innovative tools for individuals who are non-speaking or at risk of losing their ability to speak. And remember, we read about all of the benefits that AI has for the disabled community. I should have already posted that video. If not, you can find it on the live section. You can go to King Angel Show live streams, KAS live streams, and you'll find, just scroll through the coffee news. You'll read it in the title. One of them talks about, it was like a week or two ago, talks about AI and all the benefits that it has given towards the disabled community. And it's great that Apple is now integrating all of these things into their iOS and their like platform and whatnot. That's pretty great. Listen, inclusivity is extremely important. Just as much as representation, inclusivity is important as well. And the fact that companies are now going out of their way to be able to integrate so many different parts of society that deserve to be able to use their products as well. Like, it's the company's responsibility to profit, right? And this is just another way for them to profit. It's a positive way, but you have to see it from the business perspective as well. They can make a lot of money off of this. You know, it's opening doors for other people who at some point could not have had the devices, are now able to, are now more prone to spending that ridiculous amount of money on their products. Listen, I use Apple products. All my shit is Apple. I'm not blind to the fact that they're overpriced. Mind you, their camera on their phones are extremely good. You can make any comparisons that you want. I've seen other Android phones that I can 100% say that their iOSs, that their OSs, sorry, work a whole lot better than Apple's. You can do a whole lot. Well, you have a plethora of opportunities and open source to be able to do things on Android phones and whatnot. But at the very minimum, you have to give Apple that they do invest in their cameras. So, in my case, particularly me, because I'm a content creator and I do live streams, I use my phone as my camera. So, yeah, it's, in my case, worth every penny because the phone gives a pretty good high quality photos and videos. Now that I can give Apple, but I'm not ignorant to the fact that they charge an arm and a leg for their products. Now, does that have a positive? Yeah, it does have a positive because they don't lower their prices, so you know what you're buying. They're giving it to you plain and simple. This costs this much, and we don't budge with our prices like that. So you have two choices. You either purchase it and you take the L, or take the W, depending on your perspective, or you don't and you just buy another phone. And if you apply that to many companies out there that are consistently changing the prices of their products, yeah, you can definitely understand that taking the route that Apple took when it comes to their pricing has worked for them. Sucks for us, the consumer, but it's worked pretty well for them because they make a whole lot of money. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. I think that they have their shit straight when it comes to how much money they're charging for everything. Because an iPhone is $1,000, plain and simple. It's crazy. And to be quite honest with you, they their quality. Not talking about the camera and whatnot. The phone in and of itself it's still good, but the quality of it it's very different. And I don't know if you have, or if you've seen, or if you have the iPhone 14. It's, in my opinion, again, it's my own personal opinion, one of the worst phone designs ever. The fact that the lenses on the back of the camera, if you were to you can't lay the phone down, so it doesn't like lay completely down. The phone's always tilted. It's weird. I don't know, man. The person that made that, whatever team that designed that iPhone 14, that the lens in the back, they need to have a serious conversation towards them because that shit didn't work at all. It looks horrible. That's just my own personal opinion, but it looks horrible. Okay, so let's see. These updates draw on advances in hardware and software, include on-device machine learning to ensure user privacy, and expand on Apple's long-standing commitment to making products for everyone. Apple works in deep collaboration with community groups representing a broad spectrum of users with disabilities to develop accessibility features that make a real impact on people's lives. Coming later this year, users with cognitive disabilities can use iPhone and iPad with greater ease and independence with assistive access. Non-speaking individuals can type to speak during calls and conversations with live speech, and those at risk of losing their ability to speak can use personal voice to create a synthesized voice that sounds like them for connecting with family and friends. For users who are blind or have low vision, detection mode in Magnifier offers point and speak, which identifies text users point toward and reads it out loud to help them interact with physical objects such as household appliances. At Apple, we've always believed that the best technology is technology built for everyone, said Tim Cook, Apple's CEO. Today, we're excited to share incredible new features that build on our long history of making technology accessible, so that everyone has the opportunity to create, communicate, and do what they love. It says accessibility is part of everything we do at Apple, said Sarah Herlinger, Apple's Senior Director of Global Accessibility Policy and Initiatives. These groundbreaking features were designed with feedback from members of disability communities every step of the way to support a diverse set of users and help people connect in new ways. Nice. Alrighty, so let's see. Assistive Access supports users with cognitive disabilities. So, Assistive Access uses innovations in design to distill apps and experiences to their essential features in order to lighten cognitive load. The feature reflects feedback from people with cognitive disabilities and their trusted supporters, focusing on the activities they enjoy and that are foundational to iPhone and iPad, connecting with loved ones, capturing and enjoying photos, and listening to music. All right. I'll be honest with you. This should be like a standard, because sometimes, especially when you have like mini sausage fingers, I can't. I'll miss sometimes, or it's like you think you're hitting one of those emojis, and it's like the other one, or something. Like, I personally think this should be the standard for it, because it's uncomfortable. A keyboard it's iffy. Yeah, it has like a lot of things to it, but it definitely could be worked on. Especially with how big the phone is. Yeah. So let's see. Assistive Access includes a customized experience for phone and FaceTime, which have been combined into a single calls app, as well as messages, camera, photos, and music. The feature offers a distinct interface with high contrast buttons and large text labels, as well as tools to help trusted supporters tailor the experience for the individual they support. For example, for users who prefer communicating visually, Messages includes an emoji-only keyboard and the option to record a video message to share with loved ones. Users and trusted supporters can also choose between a more visual grid-based layout for their home screen and apps, or a row-based layout for users who prefer text. So let's see. Live speech and personal voice advanced speech accessibility. So with live speech on their devices, users can type what they want to say to have it be spoken out loud during phone and FaceTime calls, as well as in-person conversations. Users can also save commonly used phrases to chime in quickly during lively conversation with family, friends, and colleagues. Okay, so for users at risk of losing their ability to speak, such as those with a recent diagnosis of ALS, which is amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, or other conditions that can progressively impact speaking ability, personal voice is a simple and secure way to create a voice that sounds like them. I can see the positive, definitely. Hopefully it doesn't fall into wrong hands and people start using this for some weird things, but obviously I can definitely see the positives to it. I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think that anything that helps bring more accessibility to those that deserve it the most, in a case that not a lot of things are meant for people that don't have accessibility like that, or are disabled and whatnot. The fact that they're now creating paths so that can be remedied it's pretty good. It's pretty cool, and I applaud and salute any company that's taking the steps forward to bring that accessibility to others. I don't agree with it being ridiculously expensive the way it is, but oh well, whatever. I guess a company can sell their product at whatever cost they want, I guess. Okay, there isn't many things on Google News Technology today that's wow. I actually I haven't played it yet. Sure, why not? This is from NintendoLive.com. It says, overclocked Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom smooths out performance on Switch. Listen, I cheated. 100%. I definitely went into YouTube and I checked out the ending of. Wait, is this not doing anything? Oh no, there was like an error. Sorry, I thought the music was playing all this time. There we go. So yeah, I cheated, and I watched the ending of it. Like I watched like the final boss and shit. I didn't really. Okay. I'm about to say this, but me personally, my own personal opinion, I played better Zelda games than Breath of the Wild. I didn't like it that much. I thought it was good. I thought it was long. And I was already getting to the point in the game while I was playing it. I was getting a little desperate, but nonetheless, I had a pretty good time with it. But Tears of the Kingdom looks really good. I was completely surprised with how Nintendo improved with the graphics on this one. I saw the gameplay. I don't really give a shit, but the actually like the CGI, like the videos in it and whatnot, they did an amazing job, and it's true they did step it up. I'll probably play this once the whole fever after it's being released dies down and whatnot. And I'll probably play it. I'm still like I still have to go through a few other games before I can sit down and dedicate time to this, because it's supposed to be like 3 times longer than Breath of the Wild, and I already think Breath of the Wild is long enough as it is, and I barely scratched the surface on it, because there's people that have like 100+ hours on that game and are still playing it to this day. Obviously they're probably playing this one now, but there's still so much to be uncovered, and I see constantly people uploading shorts and shit of things that they just like recently noticed or discovered in Breath of the Wild, and shout out to Nintendo for having created such a massive game like that. And it didn't necessarily stick with some people. It did stick with a lot, but some people didn't. Like me, didn't think it was that good. Still enjoyable though. I personally liked Twilight Princess more. That's my favorite Zelda game, but I tend to like darker games that have more of a kind of like a horror-ish deal with it and whatnot, but that's definitely Twilight Princess, so that's why I like that one more. Obviously I like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. I haven't played them all, but the ones that I played, Breath of the Wild doesn't rank on my top list of it. But nonetheless, we'll check out a bit of information in regards to Tears of the Kingdom. So it says, this was written by Liam Dolan. It was posted yesterday. And it says, The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom is a masterpiece. But like the original title, Breath of the Wild, it does suffer from some serious performance dips during more heated gameplay moments, with the frame rate dropping from around 30 to the low 20s. If you're wondering what a more consistent frame rate would look like in busier parts of Tears of the Kingdom, there are already a number of videos online showcasing the game running at 30 FPS, locked, and even going as high as 60 FPS. As can be seen in the video below, game developer and YouTuber MVG, hey, let's go, has uploaded his own footage, I'm a fan, demonstrating a Tears of the Kingdom overclock using a modified Nintendo Switch system. He does manage to achieve a locked, quote-unquote, 30 frames per second in the end with a memory clock. He labels this as the culprit when it comes to performance in docked mode. While MVG doesn't go into specifics about how exactly to overclock the Switch, he does warn anyone who wants to do it themselves to take caution. He says, I will also make the disclaimer. If you are wanting to overclock your Nintendo Switch, there are risks involved. You could potentially damage your Switch. You could potentially fry it. All sorts of bad things could happen. Okay, let's see how it looks at a overclock locked 30 frames per 30 frames per second. Let's go.
So I've been playing Tears of the Kingdom for the last 3 or 4 days now, and I'm probably about 20 or so hours into the game, and I'm absolutely having a lot of fun playing the game. However, there's one area of the game that I do want to talk about in some more detail today, and that has to do with performance of Tears of the Kingdom. Now, initially when you start playing the game and you kind of run around the world of the Great Sky Island and Hyrule, the frame rate appears to be very smooth, and it runs at around 30 frames per second pretty much for the majority of the gameplay. So when you're running around in Hyrule, you're going to be getting a locked 30 FPS.
You know, I started getting more into like the knowledge of like FPS and whatnot because of Skill Up. In all his reviews, he explains like how the game performs. He normally plays on PC, but he'll give specs. He'll give information about performances on PS5 and Xbox. Sorry, at times. Mostly he just does it from PC, but that's when I started getting a lot more interested into, you know, how different frame per second. Because I mean, you can obviously use that for video editing as well, and like when you're recording videos and whatnot. But yeah, that's the reason why. I guess it's pretty interesting. Mostly not specifically Nintendo, but when you start seeing performance rates on like PC games and whatnot, and you can tell when companies actually invest in the production of games, because obviously a great game plays well on different settings that you put it on, especially on PC, like I said. So it's extremely interesting. I if you're a gamer and you're interested in performance, I highly recommend watching some videos on YouTube that explain what to look for and what constitutes obviously a great performing game. By what I've seen, it's again being able to play in different settings and how smooth the game runs and the combining of different elements in those settings that would further improve how the game looks and how it runs and whatnot. So extremely interesting.
95% of the time. But there's always going to be some occasions where the game kind of drops its frames temporarily and then it kind of fixes itself. And this is something that Digital Foundry had discussed in their tech analysis of the game, quite rightly so. However, as you continue to kind of go through the game and you explore different parts of the world, what you find is that the frame rate takes a bit of a tumble a lot more frequently than it did when you were kind of running around in Hyrule. And as you kind of continue going through the game, you'll notice more times where slowdown occurs more frequently. And two great examples of locations are the Goron City and Kakariko Village. Now, both of these are somewhat accessible pretty early on in the game, but basically, let's take a look at both of these scenarios. Now, Kakariko Village is pretty well documented because it was something that occurred in Breath of the Wild as well. But you'll notice if you kind of run around Kakariko Village, it does drop its frame rate. You can see here, it kind of starts at 30 and it kind of moves around a little bit, and then all of a sudden it kind of dips down as low as 20, but it does correct itself, and that is the most important thing. And I believe that Nintendo's probably doing something with the image reconstruction at that point. Potentially it's FSR1 kind of kicking in as well and trying to make sure that the frame rate is a constant 30 frames per second. So that's definitely a good thing. Now, let's try turning on Ultra Hand. Now, as you can see, it is a lot more aggressive now, but it also has a side effect of tipping the frame rate to the low 20s on occasion. Now, again, most of the time when you have Ultra Hand turned on, it does still correct itself to 30 frames per second. But those kind of inconsistencies when it comes to frame rate does get a little bit annoying at times, especially again, if there's someone like myself that can sense those things. Now, if we go over to Goron City, and we try running around again, you have a very similar experience to Kakariko Village. However, check this out. Now, if I turn on Ultra Hand in one of the huts here, you can see that the frame rate is a steady 20 frames per second. It just does not move from that particular number with Ultra Hand turned on. So the question is,
should be top left hand side of the video. It says the frame rate.
well, what can be done? Well, of course, if you have access to a modified Switch and a copy of Tears of the Kingdom, you can actually run some overclocking to help smooth out performance. Now, I guess the first question is, does overclocking actually smooth out performance on Tears of the Kingdom? Well, we're going to go ahead and find out and see what we can do here. So once again, you'll need a copy of Tears of the Kingdom and a modified Switch and some overclocking tools. Now, all that stuff is out of scope for this video. If you want to learn about modding your Nintendo Switch and how to overclock your games, that's something that you can find on various forums such as GBA 10, for example. I'm not going to talk about it here. And I will also make the disclaimer.
He's trying to avoid.
That if you are wanting to overclock your Nintendo...
Dude, I mean, we did read about that dude that was sued by Nintendo, and he's going to have to pay them for the rest of his life. Yeah, Nintendo doesn't play when it comes to their property. So obviously he puts that disclaimer. It's completely understandable. You don't want to run the risk. Nintendo's they're really big, and apparently their lawyers are like Disney lawyers. So you don't want to fuck with that. You're not gonna win.
Nintendo Switch, there are risks involved. You could potentially damage your Switch, you could potentially fry it. All sorts of things could happen, so I'm not responsible for it. And if you're not interested in something like this, then please turn off the video right now. Let's assume that you have your Tears of the Kingdom game.
And we're only watching it for entertainment purposes. I wouldn't dream of doing this. Because, fine. But, watching someone else do it is greatly entertaining. So, yeah, we'll do that. We'll watch someone else do it, and he'll explain it. And we'll see if the quality actually changes.
Game and a Nintendo Switch that can be modified, and you have your overclocking software on. Let's go ahead and jump in and see what we can do. So first, let's go ahead and take a look at Kakariko Village. Now, again, we said that without any overclocking, when we run around kind of the area, the village, you can see the frame drops, and especially when we turn on something like Ultra Hand, it really does tank performance. Now, let's go ahead and start with a moderate CPU overclock from 1 gigahertz, which is the stock clocks, to 1.5 gigahertz. So let's see what happens there. We're trying to determine if the game is kind of CPU bound or GPU bound, or maybe it's memory clocks. Now, I suspect it's probably going to be more GPU and memory clock related, but we'll go ahead and see what happens. Now, at 1.5 gigahertz, as you can see, there's really not much difference here at all. In fact, the frame rate hasn't really changed at any point. So let's try now with a GPU overclock. So we're going to go from 768 megahertz, which is the stock docked GPU clocks. We're going to push it to 900 to over 900 megahertz, which is kind of the maximum that it can go, at least with this particular piece of software. Now, as you can see, performance is a lot smoother, and it's definitely not locking at 30 frames per second, but it is a lot better. And this is a very positive thing. And if we go over to Goron City and try over there as well, you can see that the frame rate is definitely smoothed out. It's not perfect, it still has its times where it does drop its frame rate, but a GPU overclock certainly makes a difference here, at least in dock mode. Now, normally at this point, I'd kind of be stuck, and I would say that there's really not much else we can do here. Obviously, pushing the GPU a little higher does help smooth out some performance. It does not get us at 30 frames per second locked. Is there any way that we can get a 30 FPS locked experience? Well, the good news is, yes, we can. Since the last time I looked at overclocking tools on the Switch, there's been some advancements in some of the tools. And the good news now is, with a tool such as SysClock, the latest version here, we can now also increase memory clock. Now, this was not something that I had access to when I was testing games such as Bayonetta, as well as Age of Calamity, which both had very, very severe performance issues, and they were mostly surrounding memory clocks, because again, the memory bandwidth on the Nintendo Switch for me is probably the biggest bottleneck out of everything on the hardware right now. So it's not really a surprise that CPU doesn't make much difference and GPU does make a difference, but it doesn't really give us the desired result. So let's go ahead now and push the memory clocks beyond 1.6 gigahertz to around 1.8, which is what the setting is here. Now let's go ahead and run around in Kakariko Village again, but you're getting 30 frames per second, and no matter what I do here, I can't get that frame rate to dip below 30 FPS. So that is a really good sign. And it also just kind of proves to us that memory clocks has always been the culprit when it comes to games such as Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild. Now, for the last experiment here, let's set our CPU clocks back to stock at 1 gigahertz and our GPU clocks back to stock at 768 megahertz. And let's just push our memory clocks to the 1.8 gigahertz that we had previously. So in other words, we've set everything back to stock except for our memory clocks. What is the result there? Well, as you can see, once again, it's running at 30 frames per second without any slowdown. And if we try the same thing in Goron City, no matter what I do with Ultra Hand, turning it off and turning it on, I can't get the frame counter to dip below 30 FPS. So memory clocks is the culprit when it comes to performance in dock mode. Now, another interesting thing that I wanted to share with you guys about Tears of the Kingdom is that on Digital Foundry's tech review, they did mention that the loading speeds of the game, just kind of the loading times, were faster than Breath of the Wild. I can definitely explain the reason why Tears of the Kingdom loads faster than Breath of the Wild, and it's simply because if you see here, when we load a game, or if we kind of get to a loading screen, you can see that the CPU clocks jump significantly to 1.7 gigahertz. But notice how the GPU clocks are being reduced to about 76 megahertz. So what Nintendo is doing here is they're essentially just maxing out the CPU in order to allow loading to be a lot faster. Because when it comes to loading, it's not just file access, there's also things like decompression and specific algorithms that get run to prepare textures and to prepare assets in the appropriate way to be staged, to be run into the game. So that additional CPU clocks that you get during loading really does speed up the loading times. And this is probably the main reason why Tears of the Kingdom does load its games a lot faster than Breath of the Wild. But we are going to leave it here for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
It was pretty good. So there you go. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom running at a consistent 30 frames per second and higher than this on actual Switch hardware. To learn more about the performance of this title, check out Digital Foundry's analysis. John Linneman was quite impressed, but did find ways to trigger frame rate drops in Link's New Adventure. It says nearly every instance of major performance loss has been corrected, resulting in a game that holds very closely to its 30 frames per second target. The majority of my entire run of capture managed to maintain a solid 30 frames per second in most instances, which, for the Switch running a game this fast and emergent, is impressive. It's not 100% perfect, however, and I found ways to trigger a drop in frame rate. In most instances, it's the result of using the Ultra Hand feature. When you toggle this in a busy area, the frame rate is sure to dip, and when it does, it drops to 20 frames per second. Again, thanks to the use of a double buffer VSync. The performance reminds me of an old school game in such ways. In some ways, slowdown only occurs in busy scenes, similar to how a shooter might start slowing down when the action heats up. And like those games, Zelda is smooth in terms of frame pacing and lacks any significant stutter or hitching. Nice, pretty interesting. What do you guys think? Let me know in chat. Alright. Ooh. On the same note, we're reading from Kotaku.com. It says, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom pirate tracked down by Nintendo. Player gets warned by Comcast for downloading the Breath of the Wild sequel. What? So this was published by Ethan Gawk 3 hours ago. So, as of today, May 16th, 2023. So it says, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom leaked over a week before launch and sent Nintendo into a frenzy, with the company firing off copyright takedowns to Discord, Twitch, Twitter, and more. Now the game is officially out, but some pirates are still illegally downloading the game, and Nintendo is watching. Bro, what the fuck? Wrote one such player on the Switch Pirates subreddit. Did Nintendo somehow find out? They know the exact means of how I did it too. What the fuck? The user called Revolutionary Toe 6738. I picture someone's toe. I met someone once. It was a couple, and they had each other's toes as their lock screen. So weird, dude. People are so weird. But I don't know, Revolutionary Toe. I imagined. I'm sorry. I imagined a toe dressed up as a pirate. It says the user called Revolutionary Toe 6738 shared a copy of a Digital Millennium Copyright Act notice sent to them by Comcast warning about the infringing activity. Notably, it also contains information on which Tears of the Kingdom file the player was pirating, where from, and how. I'm telling you, dude, Nintendo, they don't play. People keep playing around with this company, bro, and they're paying the consequences, and they're actually paying, like, monetarily. Because that's the thing. They don't just they don't give you cease and desists. They'll take you to court, and they'll sue your ass, and they'll have you pay. They don't give a shit if you have money or not to pay them. The one that we read a few weeks ago, that person had only paid, what was it? They had to pay Nintendo $30,000 a year, some shit like that, for the rest of their lives. They had only paid $127. Nintendo does not play. So, if you were thinking about going down this route with them, I would highly suggest not. It's not worth it. Paying a company your money for the rest of your life, it's not worth it. For $70, nah, I'm good. I'll pay the $70 better. Live a more peaceful life. Okay, so most torrents for everything are tracked. One commenter wrote as a thread blew up. Can I still play if I just disconnect from Wi-Fi, or should I just do what they say and hope they don't take action? Revolutionary Toe 6738 wrote back. Tears of the Kingdom's massive popularity led to big lines outside of stores on launch day, and has apparently inspired newcomers to the world of internet piracy too. Revolutionary Toe 6738 did not immediately respond to a request for comment. This is the screenshot of the notice of action under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, an important alert about your Comcast business service. It reads, we have received a notification by a copyright owner or its authorized agent reporting an alleged infringement on one or more copyrighted works made on or over your Comcast business internet service. Account number, blah blah blah. Well, it didn't say anything there. He whitened it out. Incident number, those numbers and letters. Report date, time, that date and time. What's the issue? The copyright owner has identified the IP address associated with your Comcast business internet account at the time as the source of the infringing works. The works identified by the copyright owner in its notification are listed below. We remind you that use of our service in any manner that constitutes an infringement of any copyrighted work is a violation of Comcast's DMCA policy and may result in the suspension or termination of your service and account. The article reads, it's not clear what the scale of the problem is or how many other Zelda pirates have received similar notices from their internet providers. Tears of the Kingdom has been fairly easy to buy legit copies of, thanks in part to an ongoing Nintendo voucher program and a recent GameStop deal that reduced the price to just $20 for those trading games in. In the lead up to release, Nintendo's attempt to squash leaks led it to be overzealous in some takedown requests, hitting Twitch channels and social media accounts that were simply resharing officially sanctioned preview images of the game. Nintendo even briefly hit its own Zelda Twitter accounts with a takedown notice. Damn! Holy shit, even their own Zelda Twitter accounts are like, nah bruh, you need to take that down. but we work for you. It's like, nope. Take it down, bitch. The company's also not been content to simply erase leaks and pirate game files from the internet. It recently subpoenaed Discord for the personal info of a user involved in spreading copies of the Tears of the Kingdom art book, and has been suing ROM sites for years and winning. Damn, even the art book. Holy shit, they don't give a fuck. People watch out with Nintendo, I'm telling you. These people don't play. Okay, what does this say? So, this is from CNBC.com. Title says, Google Cloud launches AI-powered tools to accelerate drug discovery, precision medicine. It was written by Ashley Caput, also written by Anika Kim Constantino, published today, May 16th, 2023. Key points says that Google Cloud launched 2 new AI-powered solutions that aim to help biotech and pharmaceutical companies accelerate drug discovery and advance precision medicine. The 2 suites mark Google's latest advancements in the red-hot AI arms race. So now it's an AI arms race. Does that sound familiar to you? Because that's the path we're taking, dude. I'm telling you, it needs to be regulated. We cannot allow AI to go down the same path that social media took. It's not going to be good. The solutions also tackle the lengthy and costly process of bringing a new treatment to the U.S. market. Big Pharma's Pfizer and biotech companies Cerevel Therapeutics and Colossal Biosciences are already using the solutions. So, is there a video we can watch? Maybe. No video. So, it says Google Plus Cloud on Tuesday launched 2 new AI-powered tools that aim to help biotech and pharmaceutical companies accelerate drug discovery and advance precision medicine. One tool, called the Target and Lead Identification Suite, is designed to help companies predict and understand the structure of proteins, a fundamental part of drug development. Another, the Multiomics Suite, will help researchers ingest, store, analyze, and share mass amounts of genomic data. The new developments mark Google's latest advancement in the red-hot AI arms race, where tech companies are competing to dominate a market that analysts believe could someday be worth trillions. The company has faced pressure to showcase its generative artificial intelligence technology since the public release of OpenAI's ChatGPT late last year. Google announced its generative chatbot Bard in February. Shares of its parent company Alphabet rose 4.3% last week after Google unveiled several AI advancements at its annual developer conference. The two new Google suites help address a long-standing issue in the biopharma industry: the lengthy and costly process of bringing new medicine to the U.S. market. Drug companies can invest anywhere from a few $100 million to more than $2 billion to launch a single drug, according to a recent Deloitte report. These efforts aren't always successful. Medicines that reach clinical trials have a 16% chance of being approved in the U.S., another Deloitte report says. That hefty cost and bleak success rate is accompanied by an extensive and tedious research process that typically lasts about 10 to 15 years. The new suites will save companies a statistically significant amount of time and money throughout the drug development process, said Shweta Manier, Google Cloud's Global Director of Life Sciences Strategy and Solutions. Google did not provide CNBC with specific figures. We're helping organizations get medicines to the right people faster, Manier told CNBC in an interview. I am personally very excited. This is something that myself and the team have been working on for a few years now. So both suites are widely available to customers starting Tuesday. Google said the cost will vary depending on the company. Several businesses, including Big Pharma's Pfizer and the biotech companies Cerevel Therapeutics and Colossal biosciences have already been using the products. So the first one is the Target and Lead Identification Suite aims to streamline the first key step of drug development, which is identifying a biological target that researchers can focus on and design a treatment around, according to Meneer. Biological target is most commonly a protein, an essential building block of diseases in all parts of life. Finding that target involves identifying the structure of a protein, which determines its function, or the role it plays in a disease. If you can understand the role, the protein structure and role, now you can start developing drugs around that, Meneer said. But that process is time-consuming and often unsuccessful. Scientists can take around 12 months just to identify a biological target, according to the National Center for Biotechnology Information. The two techniques researchers traditionally use to determine protein structures also have a high rate of failure, according to Meneer. She also said it's difficult for traditional technologies to increase or decrease the amount of work they do based on demand. Google Cloud's suite has a three-pronged approach for making that process more efficient. The suite allows scientists to ingest, share, and manage molecular data on a protein using Google Cloud's Analytics Hub, a platform that lets users securely exchange data across organizations. Researchers can then use that data to predict the structure of protein with AlphaFold 2, a machine learning model developed by a subsidiary of Google. AlphaFold 2 runs on Google's Vertex AI, a platform that allows researchers to build and deploy machine learning models faster. In minutes, AlphaFold 2 can predict the 3D structure of a protein with more accuracy than traditional technologies and at the scale researchers need. Predicting that structure is critical because it can help researchers understand a protein's function in a disease. The final component of Google's Cloud Suite helps researchers identify how the protein's structure interacts with different molecules. A molecule can become the basis for a new drug if it changes that protein's function and ultimately demonstrates the ability to treat the disease. Wow, that's pretty cool. Researchers can use Google Cloud's high-performance computing resources to find the most promising molecules that could lead to the development of a new drug, according to a press release on the new tools. Those services provide the infrastructure companies need to accelerate, automate, and scale up their work. See, this is the second article that we read that revolves around health and improvements using AI and technology to be able to give companies in this case and clients in the case of Apple better tools to be able to, in the company's case, create these paths that allow for drugs to be created at a faster rate for human consumption. That's pretty fucking amazing. In Apple's case, they're creating all of these features that are being added to their iOS geared towards the disabled community and allowing them, a whole new plethora of advancements that can help them, and they can use the devices to better access, for example, the internet or the devices in and of itself. Which then leads me to the same thing, that it needs to be regulated, because it's just all of the benefits that we're getting from AI can all be squashed by all of the negatives that can come from it. The scams, all of the things that are happening in all of the industries that we know. Music industry, it's creating songs with artists' voice that are actually charting. Grimes did that thing with her. She made a deal, that you can use her voice like AI, and she'll give you like half of her royalties and whatnot. Dude, AI is changing the game at such a fast pace that there has to be some type of rule book attached to it. so that if it does fall into these wrong hands, that it can be, you know, there has to be some sort of accountability. Right now, we can't point fingers at anyone. Because, yeah, you can say that maybe you can kind of blame the people that created it, but that's not the correct path to take. But they just created it. Apple created the AirTags. The fact that people are using the AirTags to monitor and track people down, it's used for like human trafficking and shit. Yeah, it's not necessarily Apple's fault for creating the product. It's the fact that it's not regulated, and there's people that use the products for evil things. That's it. And that's why I feel so strongly about AI being regulated, because it's advancing too fast, and it's gonna get to a point where it's gonna fall into the wrong hands, and it's just gonna be a recipe for destruction, and we will not want to get to that point where we're not going to be able to control it anymore. And that's what I fear most. I don't fear the advancement. I fear what that advancement can do in the wrong hands. And government needs to step up. There has to be something done. Congress needs to put their pants on, get to work. Yeah, I don't like to work. This needs to be addressed. You're wasting your time on like TikTok, and you're wasting your time on all this a lot of things technology wise that are unnecessary. You should have already targeted social media when it started. You didn't do that, so fine, take the L. But with AI, it needs to be regulated. There has to be something. There has to be a institution or something created to be able to combat wrongdoings that are done because of AI. Because we see a lot of positives, but with those positives comes that other end of the pendulum, and it's all the bad things that come with it. And it's not to say that what we're reading right now this is extremely positive and this is great. But again, it's just like that fear. I can't let go of that fear. Let's see if we can find any article about maybe something leaning towards AI being regulated, or is there any talks about it? Like what's up with that? Okay, so at least, well, this is old. This is from 2021, and it still hasn't. Okay. Damn you, New York Times, because you paywall your articles, so I know that they're not gonna let me read this. Let's see if maybe we can find a video that we can watch real quick. Oh, nice. This is from 2 days ago. Yeah, this is the European Yahoo Finance. The video is called AI Regulation and Privacy: How Legislation Could Transform the Artificial Intelligence Industry.
Union took a big step this week towards passing legislation to regulate AI tools, including ChatGPT. Lawmakers agreed to strengthen draft legislation to include a ban on the use of facial recognition in public spaces, and also call for more transparency around programming and use of generative AI. Here in the U.S., that discussion has been playing out largely on the state level. Let's dive deeper on this with Goli Madavi, Data Privacy and Security Council member at Bryan Cave Leighton Paisner. We've also got our very own Alexis Keenan joining in on the conversation. Goli, it is interesting. You know, we should preface this by saying that, look, conversations around regulation about AI have been going on for years, but it does feel like the developments around ChatGPT have really accelerated that. To what extent has that raised the urgency?
Well, we are absolutely at an inflection point. We have mass adoption of AI tools across enterprise. We are seeing now consumers jumping to use generative AI tools like ChatGPT. They have something like 100 million monthly average users. And so legislatures and legislators are feeling a real push, feeling pressure to put laws in place to protect consumers.
Goli, it's Alexis here. By the end of this year, we will have had 7 states in the United States that have enacted laws that protect consumers and job applicants against what they perceive as threats of AI, things like whether to offer insurance to an applicant, whether to offer a job, things like loan products, financial products. What exactly are these states that have enacted these laws, and can you give some more specifics as to their guardrails?
Absolutely. And so we can group the consumer privacy protection laws in California, Colorado, Virginia, and Connecticut together because they generally follow the same framework. These laws, which apply to the use, collection, and sharing of personal data, also regulate artificial intelligence tools to the extent that these tools make automated decisions that impact consumers in the areas of health, insurance, financial services, employment, and housing. In other words, automated decisions that are impactful. And so what we see under these consumer privacy laws is that where businesses use automated decision-making tools in these high-risk areas, they need to provide notice to consumers that they're doing so. And within that notice, they need to provide a description of the logic that is used by these tools. They need to provide consumers with choice. Consumers need to be able to opt out of having their personal data used in connection with automated decision-making. Also, businesses will need to perform impact assessments. In other words, they need to look at the benefits that the use of automated decision-making tools provides to the organization and to consumers, as well as the potential risks in using these tools, and then implement mitigations to minimize the harm to consumers in using these tools. And so this is what we see in terms of the consumer privacy laws. And then we have a handful of employment-related laws that are specific to hiring and promotion. We see that Maryland and Ireland both have existing laws on the book that impact the ability of a company to use facial recognition software in Maryland during the course of an employee's interview. In Illinois, it's related to using AI technology in connection with videotaped interviews. And of course, New York City is grappling with its own law right now, which governs generally the use of automated employment decision tools in the course of making employment decisions.
Goli, you mentioned their assessment.
Yeah, because that's like a whole new thing now. I was reading about that, and it's that employers are now using this automated system, and what it does is it goes through your resume that you submit while you're applying for the job, and it looks for keywords, and if the keywords don't match, it'll automatically deny your resume. I think I might be able to find. I read about it, but I know that I don't know. We're gonna see if there's a video out there that can prove it. Let's see. Okay. Well, this is from Bloomberg's original. Let's see if maybe... Let me see. Because I think this one might have... probably has, like, copyright music.
The Great Resignation resignation is continuing to loom.
There are more than 11 million unfilled jobs right now.
We hear from businesses all over the country that it's very hard to hire people.
Almost 2 years into the pandemic.
Nope. Let's see if I can find maybe an article. Let's see. So, automatic. Let's see.
Pre-recorded interviews, behavioral tests. Your resume has to fit this cookie cutter mold. You don't know what they're gonna do with that information and how they're gonna judge you, whether it's based on what you have on your resume or your looks.
The next time you apply for a job, it might not be a human being deciding whether you get it or not. Instead, it could be an algorithm. For some, artificial intelligence, or AI, is an efficient way to remove human bias and discrimination in the hiring process. But others fear that
Is it really?
AI-driven hiring tools reflect the same biases as the humans who built them.
Of course.
So, should algorithms be used at all in the recruitment process? And if they are, how can we ensure that they don't worsen employment discrimination? Algorithms are already deeply embedded in all of our lives. They can decide our educational prospects, or determine our health needs. They can even suggest our ideal life partner. And now they're also helping decide whether or not we get employed.
That training data helps the machine to learn, and it sort of helps to make these predictions.
AI hiring tools are now big business. In 2019 alone, the global market for artificial intelligence in recruitment was valued at $580 million.
Woo!
From low-skilled jobs to senior positions, companies from across the board have started using AI to determine who to hire. So, if you're applying for a sought-after position, a machine might have written the job post, targeted that job specifically to you, scanned your CV for keywords, scheduled your interview, and monitored your facial movements.
Which is why, like, there's a whole bunch of people on TikTok, for example, that they explain how to build your, like, resume and whatnot based off of this new AI and how it's scanning for keywords, and that's like the whole thing now. It's for whatever position that you're looking for. What they do is the explanation I saw is you take the actual job post and then you mimic keywords from the job post. You put them into your resume. Obviously, you're not going to write them one after the other, but I've seen a lot of people. Well, actually, you know what? I saw one person that explained that what they did was they made like their resume, but right in the bottom, in really, really, really small letters, you can barely see. That person put all the keywords, and yeah, there's like different ways that you can like cheat the AI system and whatnot, but the fact that it is no longer based off of a human being actually looking at your resume and reading through your specs, like, so if you really think about it, your worth is no longer based off of your actual experience, but it's based off of just how well you make a resume that a computer can analyze it and match keywords that then gives like a green light for you to be interviewed for the position. So you don't even have to have that initial experience plastered on paper anymore. You just have to make a resume that fits the processing that this AI does when scanning your resume. That's crazy. That's the world we live in. Gone are the days of going to a place. I remember going to a place and like asking if they had like open positions and whatnot. And, like, I'm not that old, but it was still done in like the late 90s. I started working early. So I was already working when I was like 13, 14. And that's how it was. Yeah, I went into a place when my first job was like that. I asked for a job and the dude was like, oh yeah, sure. Mind you, I was 14. But this is Dominican Republic, so it's a different mentality. And I started working, and lo and behold, never stopped from that point on. But I took my resume with me and I asked the person if they were hiring, and that's how I got it. And now it's people pay into these people, as in like corporations and small businesses, because even small businesses, mid to small businesses, mid to high, mid to big like businesses and whatnot do the same thing too. So it's taking over. So it's no longer that experience that you have that you're so proud of putting on a piece of paper. Now it's not. It doesn't even. They don't even look at that. There's not even an actual live person reading your resume. There is no longer a surprise or like a whoa factor to it. And there's no longer that judgment, I guess, that comes with sending your resume and the person that's checking it and like looking at you, trying to analyze who you are. For many years, I did the hiring and firing process for a company. And I saw firsthand, the reaction of people when they would come into the interview to get the job, or that initial phone call after checking out the resume. You're like, oh, hi, can I speak to so-and-so? And, oh, yeah, this is so-and-so from this company, and we're calling you today for the sole purpose of scheduling an interview with you. We're interested in your resume. I really liked what I read. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Now that initial one is a computer that's determining whether you deserve an interview with this company or not. I know people that have done it, that have applied to jobs using the AI, applied to a position at a company that is using AI currently for their hiring process, and the person I know applied for the job and literally 2 minutes later or less received an email saying that they were going to give the job to someone else. It's crazy. And then the scams that come with that, it's insane. But that's where we are now in the world. It has to be regulated, like I said before, and we're just going to have to adapt to it. There's nothing we can do at this point. There's nothing we can do. The people that are creating these things are delusional people that think that they're saving the world, and it might well be true, but if it's not regulated, they're not saving shit. They're just causing a lot more problem. But who the fuck am I? Who am I to say something like that, huh? I use ChatGPT, and I think it's pretty convenient. We're not there yet. I still think that you definitely need to check whatever it's writing. It's whatever you ask it. You still have to go through the answer and make it your own, because it sounds extremely robotic. But I have had some answers that it gives that it's kind of sounds human, a little bit, and that's scary right there. You now have this current situation that's happening with the WGA, that strike that's happening. Movie companies, like movie producers, the industry in and of itself, they're thinking about just switching to AI and hiring some writers to overlook the process and kind of give a green light and make any changes to the script that AI writes. But that's the path that it's taking. And even though people at the WGA are actively striking, and one of the things that they're asking is that AI is not used. Dude, these companies and corporations, they're gonna shove that shit down our throats, and they're definitely gonna use it, because it's time saving for them, at least from their perspective, and they are saving a whole bunch of money like that as well. It needs to be regulated, because what's going to happen when all these companies just exclusively use AI? What's going to happen to the workforce? A lot of people don't think about that. This could affect trade. This could affect like regular jobs. It's not only affecting a certain group of people. It's not. This is going to affect all industries. So what's going to happen when manufacturing goes completely automated? There's a McDonald's that opened that's completely AI. It has no human beings in it, and it does the complete process. Yeah, that's pretty good now, and we can see it from the perspective of it helping human beings. But there will come a time where, we're gonna have to ask ourselves, like, okay, if everything becomes too comfortable for corporations that they don't need human beings, how are people gonna survive? One thing is if it's regulated and like AI works with humans, but when it takes over, and I don't mean take over in a Skynet way, I mean take over in a all companies are exclusively just going to use AI. So what the fuck are you going to go to school for if you really think about it? To learn how to do AI? You might as well just teach coding and programming as the only subject in the world that you're going to be able to take, because what value would you taking languages or anything like that have if you have something that can automatically do it for you? Why would you need someone to translate something for you? And that's a kind of a mundane thing, but why would you need someone to translate something for you if you can literally just put the whole thing into an AI chat and it will translate it for you and make it make sense in any language that you want? I read the other day, AI is now giving better stock predictions than people that work on Wall Street. What's going to happen? No. Chat, let me know. I don't know. Maybe I'm ignorant to it. But what's going to happen when it's even affecting that part of society? That the money part, Wall Street. What's going to happen when companies, they just... What the fuck are they going to need a broker for at this point? They could just automate the whole thing. Why would you need to go to a bank if it's going to get to a point where it'll all be automated? They'll have like banks that don't have anyone inside of it, that you just like, you can put the, like they have already with the drive-through ones, but it'll just be completely automated. They can create AI systems to be able to manage the whole thing. So, I don't know. The question begs to be asked. What serves human beings that is a commodity? I mean, is it a commodity, or is it the path to unknown destruction for human beings? Because it's gonna happen. I mean, come on. This isn't the Minority Report, or what's that other movie called? I Am Legend, or whatever the hell it is. It's affecting people's livelihood at this point. You know the amount of unemployed people there are in the United States right now, and all the time you're just seeing on the news, reading about this company, that company with these huge layoffs and shit. Me personally, I think AI has to do with it. It's just, again, when human beings are able to find something that A, they can pay cheaper, or not pay at all, or B, gives them more revenue. Like, why would they hire humans at that point? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just my two cents in the whole situation. All right, let's move on.
Tone of voice and speech patterns. These are just a few of the tools being used. Kevin Carballo, who we met at the start of the video, says he's experienced a few.
It's like shooting in the dark while being blindfolded. You don't know when you're gonna get called back, and you don't know if your resume is going to fit the parameters that they're looking for.
Companies selling AI tools for recruitment market their products as a time and resource-saving device. They also pledge to help eliminate recruiters' unconscious biases. But for tech researchers, more often than not, algorithms mirror them. So how does that work? The first issue is the diversity of developers, from ethnicity to gender and socioeconomic background.
There is such a lack of inclusion of diverse populations to begin to even develop these tools. And then the codification that is intrinsic in the models themselves. Those are issues that create biases in the process, even before you begin to talk about the data.
This can lead to data that favors or skews away from groups.
The past has not been great for women in employment. It has not been great for ethnic and racial minorities. It has not been great for those non-binary or LGBTQIA people.
Which leads to the problem that
an AI, a machine learning method more precisely, is just not going to have that information with the help of which it will be able to figure out that somebody who's atypical, an individual with a disability, for example.
You know, it could also discriminate based on the basis of based off of like last name. Like that AI could well have something integrated into it that if there's a last name that isn't like common or some shit like that, like they could just reject you for that. At the end of the day, it's coded by someone. Like someone has to input the information to create the AI, so they can manipulate it however they want. I mean, think about it. It's not a self-reliant machine. It's still, it needs to be fed all the data and information. So the question is, who's feeding all that data and information to it?
Or somebody else who belongs to an intersection of multiple marginalized groups, like African American women, would do well if we gave them a chance.
different tools can show bias in different ways.
Oftentimes the application or the algorithm may not necessarily recognize me, not me as a person, but Black and brown people in general.
With video analysis tools, we're also concerned about, for example, whether people are going to be keeping eye contact with the camera. Now think about somebody who's blind. They're not even going to know where to look. Think about somebody who is a woman and who was brought up in a conservative culture where they're told to look down, where they're not told to keep eye contact. Right?
And that exists.
How will that reflect on their job prospects?
Kevin, who was the first in his family to attend university, says he's lost track of the number of times he's applied for a job only to receive an automated
It wasn't a concern at first, but then you start asking yourself, like, why am I not getting a call back, and maybe changing things here and there a bit.
Oh, sweet.
And actually, it started making a difference. So you kind of see, like, maybe there is some type of prejudice, some type of bias when it comes to, you know, the labor market.
So, should we be using algorithms at all?
It depends very much on which areas we're talking about, and it depends very much on whether human intervention is possible. That's the biggest risk right now that I see. No one has any idea about how these decisions are being made, how these algorithms are working, and yet there's a rush to celebrate that now things are automated and things are moving much faster.
AI is
Dude, she's right.
It's not gonna know
She
what
proves.
to do. It's not gonna just work.
She proves a point.
We really have to check whether these tools work.
The use of artificial intelligence in recruitment throws up a number of ethical questions. From the US to EU countries, governments are discussing regulations aimed at preventing biases in AI. In New York City, a piece of legislation is being proposed that would require companies to undertake audits for bias in their AI tools before they can sell their products.
And it would also require that individuals who are evaluated with the help of algorithmic tools be notified that an algorithm was used to screen them.
They're also looking at the legitimacy of these algorithms in terms of what they measure. So if you're being asked to play logic games or guess, the number of golf balls that fit into a plane for assessing your risk tolerance or your ability to think outside of the box, the legislation in New York is forcing these companies to actually prove that there's some correlation between the types of testing and whether it has any relation to candidates' abilities to do
Dude, something is something.
But
taking steps.
What would a bias audit actually mean?
What are the downstream and upstream impacts of doing an audit? And what are the measures? What are the key performance indicators that are being assessed that could drive the change that is needed with these applications?
It's not just an issue for minoritized people or people at the margins somehow who might find themselves in an uncomfortable situation regarding their data because cameras don't work on their skin tone or something like that. This is a massive issue for everyone who has data that is online, which most of us do, and who is interested in fairness and transparency and accountability for the decisions that get made.
Wow. It's pretty scary. Especially the fact that you need a job to be able to survive. And now we're getting to this point where, it's applicants are having these are having their resumes screened by an automated machine, and it's crazy. Dang it, this would have been great to see. Okay, so let's go back to this video that we were watching, AI regulation and privacy, how legislation could transform the artificial intelligence industry. We are watching this video because we started reading about how Google Cloud launches AI-powered tools to accelerate drug discovery and precision medicine in the obviously pharmaceutical and medicine industry. They created 2 suites that are created to help different parts of said industries. The first one that we were reading about was actually released today, is the Target and Lead Identification Suite, and that aims to streamline the first key step of drug development, which is identifying a biological target that researchers can focus on and design a treatment around. From that point on, and that led me to talk about AI, the need of regulation in regards to AI, and how, we have seen that there are steps that are being taken in certain states of the U.S., but it's at the pace that AI is going and how it's being created and how it's being used, regulation should have already been established, or should already be something that's not statewide, but countrywide, like nationwide. This has to be something that Congress needs to do their job and step up and stop being lazy, and they need to do something about this, because again, if we allow AI to head down the same path as social media, we're screwed, and this is going to be a behemoth that will make social media look like child's play. Shout out Chucky. I'm gonna sidestep a little bit there, but if you like horror flicks, I would definitely recommend you check out The Curse and Cult of Chucky. That's 2 separate movies, and if you can, if you have access to, what is it? Is it on Stars or something? I forgot, or FX. I forgot where the show is on, but the Chucky show, bruh. Man, that is such a great example of something that people thought had lost its magic. It's like, pun intended, fresh blood thrown on that. And bro, I mean, The Curse of Chucky. Wow. I love that movie. I absolutely love that movie. That I watched it the first time, and I was just so mind blown at how great the movie is. Like, wow. I mean, if you follow the Child's Play series, like, you obviously know that the previous 3 to Curse of Chucky was Bride of Chucky, Son of Chucky, and well, no, just those 2 specifically were trash. Like, holy shit, trash. But with fresh ideas and just a desire to want to revitalize the series, bro, they released that movie Curse of Chucky. Man, what a great movie. And Curse of Chucky 2 is really good. I highly recommend. But that one specifically, Curse of Chucky, I was blown away by it. But that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to throw that information out there in case you haven't seen it. And if you have, let me know in chat what you think about the movie. Were you as impressed as I was? I might just do, well, I might not. Besides the videos that I am working on for, it's like 2 or 3 viewers that asked for their videos to be reviewed and reacted to. That's coming. It's coming soon. Besides that, I want to do a review of all the Child's Play trailers. Hell yeah. Even if I have to go through Bride and Son. Oh, so bad. That Son of Chucky is such a bad movie. But the fact that there's continuity to everything. Wow, I love that. I love it so much. Shout out to them. All right, enough Child's Play talk. Let's go back to discussing AI regulation and whatnot. We'll finish watching this video and then we'll read about the second suite that Google has released, and then we'll move on to another article.
For risk and compliance are part of these laws. I'd like you to explain whether you think there's a particular industry or industries that face the most challenges in terms of complying with these laws, even though we're not at the point where we have a federal law on the books.
Well, anytime you're grappling with a patchwork of state laws, it kind of brings the compliance risk up, because there is no universal standard by which companies can tie their compliance programs to.
And listen to this. Adding to that, because she asked about what industries. One of the things that I was thinking about, the music industry, for example. What do they need you to, like, with how fast AI is advancing? Unless you're creating your own beats and production, why would they need you as a vocalist? Like, why would they sign you as a vocalist if they can literally just give you some money, take your voice, you can literally just say like the alphabet or some words, and they can run that through AI and create a song that would check all of the elements that would make it successful. So if you really think about it, there's gonna come a point where, like, they're not gonna sign artists anymore. They're gonna sign images. So you're, like, for example, you want to be a famous musician. If you're not creating your own things, they could just, like, take pictures of you, or they record you in the video, and it doesn't even have to be that long, and they can AI generate the whole thing, and they could create a whole album, and they would just have to ask you to take some pictures for the cover of it. How many artists don't do, like, playbacks on their concerts and shit? It's like, I'm pretty sure an AI can generate the same song, a live version, by adding, like, a crowd. You can do it on software, like, right now. What would make you think that an AI wouldn't be able to do that shit automatically? Wasn't there, like, an artist, chat, what was it, like a year ago, 2 years ago, that won an award, and it was an AI artist, and it was like completely computer generated. No, it didn't win an award. It was signed to a record deal. A legit record deal. Thousands and thousands and thousands of artists and struggling musicians out there that are trying to put their music out and are talented. Dead silent with them. But an AI generated, computer generated artist. We need to sign this fucker. Now. But dude, you don't believe me? Look. This is 100% legit. FN Mecca, a robot rapper powered by artificial intelligence, recently signed a deal with a major record label. The signing comes after the robot rapper amassed a following of over 10 million followers on TikTok with over 1 billion views. This was last year. And people made a huge fuss about it, and I think they broke the deal and whatnot. Capitol Records, so this is musicbusinessworldwide.com. This was published August 12, 2022, and the title says, Capitol Records just signs a virtual artist, FN Mecca. He has over 10 million followers on TikTok. So, there was one major label signing... No. Mamma mia. Okay. So it says, there was one major label signing we spotted fairly early, though. In April last year, we told you about a robot rapper called FN Mecca. The virtual artist creator, who we'll come back to later, told us at the time that Mecca has been created using thousands of data points compiled from video games and social media. It's because it has access to all of the information. It's like C-3PO creating the next viral artist. You feel me? What is this? C-3PO speaks, what is it, like 1 million languages, old and new, some shit like that. He says it. Or it says it. Just over a year later, FN Mecca has over 10 million followers on TikTok. But that's fine, because you can have as many. I've seen weird accounts with like huge followings. There are accounts out there that spew a whole bunch of racist, nasty shit, and they have millions of followers. Fine. But the fact that, listen, not only that, he's just been signed by one of the most powerful record companies in the world, Capitol Records / Capitol Music Group. Capitol claims that FN Mecca, who has over 1 billion views on TikTok, is the #1 virtual being on the video platform, as well as the world's first AR artist to sign with a major label. Dude, there's like multi-talented, multi-instrumentalists, virtuosos out there that can't get a record deal. There's virtuosos out there that can't even get a following of people to hear their music, let alone a record deal, to one of the most powerful record companies. That's a slap in the face. And this is a clear indication of what's to come. Why would they invest money on someone that could or could not work out when this could easily just be created and erased? FN Mecca didn't work out. People don't like this anymore. Alright. Information at your fingertips. Data. Research. Numbers. Alright. This is what we need. This is going to be the next artist. I don't know. We'll make up a name. I don't know. Any name there, whatever. I don't know. Nothing comes up to my head right now. But that's the next artist. And that's it. And then they grab that same one, they plaster them all over social media, start making a whole bunch of money off of it, and that's it. When that one is not useful anymore, they just delete that one and they create the next one. Dude, there's like artists out there that like, I mean, do you guys remember the TLC situation? When TLC was like this is in the 90s, when they were the biggest female pop band in the world, and they were like dead broke. You know how many musicians go through that shit? A lot. You know how many artists go through that shit? A lot. And now you have AI generating photography and paintings and a whole bunch of shit that is winning awards over talent. Do you understand why I am so passionate about this shit being regulated? There has to be accountability for it, because it's too good. So what the fuck is gonna happen when it's too good? They did a AI generated King of New York. Wait, is it King of New? Was it New York? No, wait, hold on. Okay, so it's... I'm not gonna put it because obviously it has copyright on it, but that video that you see there, I'll post a link. I'll post a link here. This is an AI generated version of Nas's New York State of Mind by Biggie Smalls, and it's fire. I'm not gonna put it on because it's copyright, but it's fire. That Drake one that I don't even like Drake like that anymore. But that Drake one that they did, what was with The Weeknd? Bruh. What? That's crazy. So again, we'll use Drake as an example. What the fuck does the record company need Drake for anymore? Besides an image. If they can generate song after song after song after song with a different beat. That there only has to be like one person there that just like clicks around and just like chooses the best one that could fit whatever verse. That's it. And there you go. It's scary. It's scary. And it's so scary to even say that. God damn, it's good. Oh man, I kind of wish that Biggie really did do this cover, I guess, if you want to call it that. Yeah, AI cover, that's what it says there, but he dude, it's like it's Biggie, bro. It's like it sounds exactly like Biggie. Rest in peace. That's where we are. That's where we are. That's where we are in the world. It needs regulations. We need to do something about this shit. It's getting out of hand. Not only are people getting scammed with AI and all this, like, dude, like, you can create a whole album using someone's voice and you could fucking sell that shit. It charted, like that Drake and The Weeknd song charted on like Spotify or some shit like that. Like, yeah, dude, we're in trouble. We're in big trouble. I saw a video of like The Lord of the Rings, but if it were directed by Wes Anderson, completely AI generated. It's fucking Congress wasting their time on TikTok. Ugh, this whole TikTok, without even realizing that this dragon. We're not going to be able to control this shit. It's going to go over our heads. This is gonna, if we don't do anything about this, it's gonna go over our heads, and we're not gonna know what to do with it.
In terms of industries that are likely to be more heavily targeted, of course, regulators are focused on automated decision making, where those decisions impact consumers in a very real or legal way. And so again, we're talking about housing, employment, insurance, criminal justice. And so that's really where regulators are going to be focused.
Goldie, you mentioned sort of the compliance risk that comes with a fragmented approach, which is what we're seeing right now. I mean, how much muscle is there really behind this legislation if there's nothing at the federal level?
Well, you know, enforcement is going to be important, and that really remains to be seen. We know that in California, there is a dedicated consumer privacy agency that has its own budget, and they are currently staffing up. So we can expect that come July, when the enforcement date comes, there will be an enforcement sweep. So we know at least in California,
very important. That's good to know.
Companies should expect that there will be active enforcement of consumer privacy laws.
Again, this was published 2 days ago, so very, very, very relevant information here.
And AI legislation. The other states are going to be governed, obviously, by those states' attorneys general. And it's not clear at this point whether or not those laws have adequate budget and staffing to really go after the bad actors.
Goldie Madavi with Brian Cave Layton. Appreciate you walking us through what is a very complicated landscape right now. And our thanks to Alexis Keenan as well.
Okay, listen to this. This other video says AI integration can help remove some of the friction in online dating, Bumble president says.
Shares of Bumble, they are trading down over the past month.
This was 4 days ago.
The company reporting better than expected first quarter earnings, though, last week. Revenue coming in at nearly $243 million, about $2 million higher than estimates, and jumping nearly 16% on an annual basis. Adjusted earnings per share with a slight miss, though, 1 cent versus nearly 2 cents. Bumble app revenue, though, that grew 26% since last year, and total paying users increased to 3.5 million, 15% jump on an annualized basis.
That's a lot of people.
And one thing everybody's watching here, AI. Yeah, we said it. Bumble currently testing a new premium paid feature called Best Bees, which leverages machine learning to improve curation of compatible matches. For more on this, we turn to Bumble president Tariq Shakir, alongside Yahoo Finance's executive editor, Brian Sazi. Great to have you here with us this morning. First, walk us through the quarter. We'll start there, and where you're seeing some of the trends among people who want to find love out there, or even a business connection, because we know that there's business connections, there's best friends, and there's finding love within the platform. Why they're spending into the experience more right now?
Yeah, well, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me. As you mentioned, we've had a great first quarter, great start to the year. Revenue at $243 million, up 16%.
You know, coming from someone that has been off the market for close to 2 decades at this point now, I completely missed the surge of online dating and whatnot. I have absolutely no idea. If you're watching me, if you're lurking or viewing me and whatnot, let me know in chat if you have any experience. Like, how is it? Like, is it really as scary as people say it is? I mean, obviously you have to be cautious regardless, but how has the experience been for you so far? I have met people that it has gone great for them. I've also seen plenty of videos of people that have had horrible stories with it, but I don't know. I'm curious if you watch the show, if you're if you're in any of these apps, if you've used any of these apps, if how it goes for you, how it went, or was it successful? Did you find some? Were you able to find business / best friend / love, or was it not as they promote it? Let me know in chat. We'll talk about it.
Bumble app revenue leading the way with 26% growth to almost 194 million, and with growth in our EBITDA margin as well to 24%. So we thought it was a really good quarter, and it really is powered by just consumer demand. We are seeing demand really around the world, in the U.S., in Canada, in Western Europe, in parts of Southeast Asia and Latin America, really be very, very strong at the moment. Our what we call top of funnel, new registrations, new people coming into the market, are really powering the business, including with the Gen Z segment, which is obviously very critical for this business. And then some of the new products that we've been launching are really catching on and converting people into paying users. So we really think that we're really firing on multiple.
Quick question: does anyone else look at the books that people have when they're being interviewed to kind of see if A, you have them? Well, in my case, it's A, if my wife has them, or B, if they're reading like something weird or something. I always do that. I always pause to see what books. I don't know. I feel like the books that you showcase say a lot about you and can kind of give a glimpse to people, like, kind of as to what you're in, like what certain interests you partake in, or what draws your attention and whatnot. Many times it can even determine what you do for a living. Yeah, I find it very curious. Chat, let me know if that's something that you do, and if you're while I'm mentioning it now and I pause it, you are now reading the titles of the books that he has set up behind him. I feel like there's a lack of books. There should be a lot more, especially given the position that he holds, but oh well, who am I to judge?
Multiple dimensions at this point.
I'm the person that's watching it. That's who I am. That gives me a little bit of leeway to judge him a little bit. I mean, come on. It's the same thing. You're watching me, you get to judge me. So that's how it goes. That's the trade-off that you do when you are in front of a camera.
Tarek, we're hearing from a lot of leaders, consumer leaders that lead consumer businesses, maybe such as yours, that those people earning $75,000 a year or less are really struggling right now. Inflation, job loss, whatever it is. Do you think for that cohort, they will sign up for a month and maybe roll off, and for them, it will be a loveless summer?
Well, we are seeing a couple of different things in the market. First of all, people really still want to date. And if you think about the experience that you get on Bumble and think about how easy it is to meet a number of different people, it's actually a really good value. You compare the cost of a Bumble subscription to going to a bar and buying 3 drinks in New York City, and it really, I think, compares quite favorably. And we hear that time and again. This is actually a very efficient way to go out and meet new people. So that's absolutely one thing. We are seeing robust demand for our subscriptions. Our new subscribers continue to lead the charge. As we talk about, we've seen payer user growth. We now have 3.5 million paying users. Those new subscriptions are continuing very strong. There are some.
I feel like they're fact-checking him right there.
Gen Z segment where we are seeing some people saying, I'm going to do a month or two and take a break, but really, it isn't slowing down the company. We're delivering the 26% revenue growth on Bumble app as an example, even with those dynamics that are going on. So we think the demand for love and for connection is really, really strong.
Tarek, I have to admit, I would much rather spend my money out at a bar with my friends than on an app. But I'm married, so it's not really applicable to me.
Who gives a shit? Like, no one asked you. That's.
I met my husband the old-fashioned way at a party. Although I was on apps at the time as well. But
Look,
in any case,
the dude's not even amused.
Like,
I don't understand.
I guess my question is, as real life, IRL, right? Or do you see it as other dating apps?
Look, this is not the pandemic anymore. People are not going to be doing endless dates on video chat, and that's not what we want. What we want is to make sure that when you do meet in a bar, when you do actually go out to dinner, when you do actually go for a walk in the park, whatever it is that you want to do to connect with somebody, it is a real connection. It's a connection that you have some chemistry with. So you're not showing up and saying in the first 5 minutes, ooh, I really shouldn't, this isn't what I thought it would be, this isn't the person I thought it would be, etc. And so we really think this is a safer way to date. We think it's a way to improve the quality of your first dates. And our business is all about connecting you in real life. It is not about connecting you virtually. We just use the mobile app as a way to help you connect with people.
Well, one of the new ways that people are finding out even how or who they can connect with is simply by saying, you know what, I'm going to put a pair in my profile, and I'm also going to perhaps put a ring on and go out, and people will see that ring and they'll know, yeah, I'm out here to be talked to. I'm trying to catch these. I'm trying to catch the likes in real life. So, with all of that taking place and the kind of diffusion of that experience, what do you view as your competition right now, and how does Bumble even need to reinvent the experience to be more off-premise or engaging more of the in real life connection?
Well, I think that obviously the question's not asked to me though, but isn't Bumble just one amongst a lot? Because I've heard people mention Match.com. There's a lot of dating sites that are exclusive, I guess, to political parties. There's some hold on. Trusty Google. Okay. So this article is this is from mandatory.com. No. Mandatory.com. Like I said, title is 20 very weird dating sites that actually exist. This was published January 7th, 2015, and I'm still going to read it just to humor ourselves, but the image is no longer available. Oh, they took down the images for it. Boo. 2018, 2021, 2014. Okay, we'll do this one. 2021. This is from scoopwhoop.com. It's 12 of the strangest dating sites that you didn't know existed on the internet. This was published July 10th, 2021, and it was written by Tanaya Feroz Khan. It says, "Gone are the days when one would oh wait, hold on. I need my background music. Gone are the days when one would fantasize their dupada getting stuck in a cute guy's watch only for a Pela Nasha to play in your head on loop." I don't know what that is. In the post-2020 era, the old-fashioned way to have a meet cute, even by a slightest chance of fate, is dating apps. Better believe it. But we got so bored of the usual options available out there. We mean apps, but yes, also people, that we bumbled our way into the internet in search of more. And yes, the internet is weird. But these dating apps that we found on the internet are so weird, we're actually curious now. Enter my new favorite pastime. Okay, so once again, title is called 12 of the strangest dating sites that you didn't know existed on the internet. Number 1, metal dating. Are you a metalhead seeking a fellow metalhead companion? Metal dating is a dating site for those who want their partners to be into gothic, heavy, metal, and black metal music. Number 2, Furry Mate. Furry Mate is your home base if you enjoy dressing up as an animal and being involved with someone who enjoys playing dress up as an animal. Who needs foreplay when you can have a fur play, I suppose. Ha, I see what they did there. Really quickly, we don't kink shake here, as long as it's obviously in the parameters of legality. Yeah. But if it falls in those parameters, dude, be happy. Gonna dress up as a furry? YOLO, man. It's only one life to this shit. You only get one chance. So, if that's what tickles your fancy, bro, do what you gotta do. Man, some people like one thing. Some people like MILFs. Some people like, foreplay, whatever the case may be. There's a whole bunch of fetishes out there, as long as they fall in the parameters of legality. So everyone has their own like kink and shit. So good for you if you're on like furry.com. Bro, number 3, 420 singles. If I were ever to be single, this would probably be the one I would go into, because trying to, gotta find a fellow pothead. But I'm a happily married man, so 420 singles. Do you prefer to light up a 420, April 20th, and many other days throughout the year? Yes, I most certainly do. A lot. If you're looking for someone to share your next high with, 420 singles is your final destination. I would love, like, my dream is to be able to, if I had the money, I'd move to like a kind of like a countryside, but not like country, like farmland. It takes like, I've already done that. It takes like 20-25 minutes to go into town or some shit like that, but something a little bit more centric that you could be able to, better navigate to and get from one place to another, but you have the commodity of going back to a house that's like far away from everything else. And I would literally just dedicate a whole room to just growing some indoor flower, and it would just be for me. I'd grow different strains, different varieties, keep the palate curious at all times with different strains and shit. I'd be so fucking happy, bro. And having means to be able to sustain myself, bro. Throw in like farmland to it and stuff. And I'm a city guy. Like, I've been raised in the city my whole life. I've lived in cities the vast majority of my life, but I lived a year and a half in the mountains, and that was awesome. No internet though, but that was awesome. It was a very peculiar way of living. Cool. So 420singles.com for you stoners out there looking for love. We're reading again. These are 12 of the weirdest dating sites. Number 4, women behind bars. There's a male version as well, and there's a TikTok creator that she makes videos about this, and dude, they're hilarious. Love always finds a way, even when someone is imprisoned. Turns out, Women Behind Bars features a lot of women seeking men within prison walls. That'd be the reason. Number 5, Can Do Better. The idea behind Can Do Better dating site is for you to create a profile of you and your current partner. The site's visitors will vote for the one between you and your partner who deserves better. The one with the highest score will then be granted access to the website to look for someone better. Damn. Wow, that was way harsh. Number 6, Gothic Match. Wow, this looks like a 2003 website. Looking for love and want your goth flag to fly as a couple? Gothic Match helps emo and goth singles meet other people looking for love or friendship. It's a gothic dating service that's entirely free to use. What? Number 7, Singles with Food Allergies. Singles with Food Allergies is the best spot to find your soulmate who has the same food allergy as you. You'll discover folks with all kinds of strange food allergies, some of which you've never heard of before. I mean, what better way to avoid choking on peanuts by accident simply because your partner loves them, no? I mean, I can see the benefit in this. I can definitely see the benefit. Number 8, millionaire dating app. Okay. ME is a millionaire matchmaker and meetup dating app for affluent, successful, gorgeous, and elite singles who are into luxury. Chat, date, and meet up with singles in your area, but also the ones who are loaded. Pretty sure this is what all the kids in Gossip Girl use. Alright. Well, I mean, listen, there's a market for everyone. There's a niche for everything in this world. So there you go. For you rich people out there that I guess you have everything but you can't find love. I don't know, man. I don't think you're that rich then. Well, that's just my perspective. I don't know about you. Oh shit, look, it says about this app. Seeking sugar daddy arrangement and meet established men, date, hook up, sugar baby. Alright, let's go. Stash passions. If you have a very specific thing for mustaches, there's legit a dating app that will show you guys who only have mustaches. All kinds, different kinds. You know, to suit your preference. Stash Passions will help to find a partner with a mustache that matches your preferences. And the next one we have Date My Pet. It's difficult to find a guy or a girl who has a pet that will get along with yours. You may not only find a date for your pet, but also for yourself, using Date My Pet. Okay, this one I can actually get behind. If they don't get along with your fur babies, they don't get along, stat. But what happens if the pets end up liking each other a lot like that, and then you're forced into having to deal with this person because you know that your pet. Are you really gonna be that asshole and not let your pet play with their friends because you don't like their parent? You like their parent? I mean, would you do the same thing to your kids? Would you not let your kid play with their friend because you don't like their friend's parent? It's a pickle. It's a kerfuffle. I don't think people thought about that very well. Number 11, clown dating. Let's go. Ask any clown and they'll tell you how difficult it is to find love while wearing all that makeup and a big red nose. Clown dating, on the other hand, reverses this by helping clowns in meeting their special someone. A companion who will enjoy being amused by them every day. As a clown, this is really not funny. It's serious. So quit clowning around. Or don't. Okay, so the slogan is, everybody loves a clown. Let a clown love you. And then number 12 on the list is vampire passions. I mean, who hasn't fantasized falling in love with a sexy looking vampire? Being turned and staying immortal in love forever, right? On Vampire Diaries, people can apparently meet someone who shares their fascination for vampire. Wait, I think they meant to write Vampire Passions, but isn't Vampire Diaries a show? What kind of typo is this? If only the Salvatore brothers are on it. I feel like there's some weirder ones out there. They just didn't write. Okay, let's see what Fox News says. West Michigan.
Well, they say that Valentine's Day is for couples. Yeah. But what about all the single people out there?
So this was published. Wow. This is Fox17online.com. Title is Weird Dating Websites for Singles. We're going to watch the video. It's only 2 minutes long. It was written by Lindsay Hoffman, and this was published February 14th, 2020. Oh, little did we know that a month later, our lives it was gonna change completely. I mean, albeit already at this time, there was already rumors about it being here in the States. So this was for Valentine's Day of 2020. Shit hit the fan mid-March. So, yeah, this is a month later.
If you're looking for love or maybe just a laugh, check out these dating apps we found that are unique. They say you are what you eat. So what does your fridge say about you? That's what this dating app wants your soulmate to find out. Refrigerating is a dating site similar to Tinder, where you swipe left or right depending on how you feel about the contents of someone's fridge.
What?
Well, mine kind of looks like a college person's fridge right about
You
now.
know, that's a very organized person.
Yeah, mine doesn't look like that.
Doesn't look like that.
Looking for someone with a good sense of humor.
Oh, we saw this
and
one.
doesn't really freak out when they find out that you're a clown. Try clowndating.com. Some of you are like, I've dated clowns in the
Yeah, I was
past.
gonna say, I've done that before. Yeah.
Clown Dating offers a community for single entertainers to chat, set up dates, and just have fun together.
Okay. Never again feel like you feel like a burden because you're gluten-free. With gluten-free singles, you can find someone who has the same dietary needs as you.
Dang, I know. I have a very close friend.
It's all business in the front and a party
He has a
in the back.
gluten-free. Oh shit!
Mulletpasses.com. It's a free dating site for
Damn.
singles who sport that sick 80s haircut. You can even search for people based on the style, including classic mud flap or even spiky.
Mud flap.
You were a mullet man back in the day,
I
weren't
did
you?
have a mush.
Oh, look at that one.
We don't talk about those days, those mullet days of mine.
Ooh.
If you're looking for someone to dress up and go to cons with,
Hey, that's pretty cool.
121 cosplay. Whether you're looking.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. This cosplay one. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. I wish I had that time and dedication to be able to make these creations. I've seen some crazy cosplay, and I follow this creator on Instagram. I follow her for quite some time now, and she creates cosplay for different characters, but the one that she did specifically for like Horizon was amazing. And then the pictures that she takes, they're really good, really good. Yeah, I've seen some insane cosplay. I've seen like videos of it. I've always wanted to go to a Comic-Con or like Anime Con or something like that. I'm not into anime, but I would like to see like the visual portion of it, like how people are dressed. Because wow, saw a video of the people waiting in line for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and a lot of people were dressed in like cosplay for different characters and whatnot. Man, that is so awesome. I really hate how there are creators, like minority creators, BIPOC, different minorities that do cosplay and they get hate for it. It's like, it's a made up character, bro. You can make them green if you want. Who gives a shit? Like, they're completely fake. You stress out too much about, dude, come on now. It's the pursuit of happiness, and a lot of people seem to have a problem with that. So if you're out there and you're watching me, bro, cosplay even harder. Like, do it with a vengeance, just to spite people off, man. Because it's a great thing to do. It's a great thing to do, I'm not gonna lie. Pissing people off with logic and reason is pretty awesome. So I'm not gonna lie. It's a pretty great feeling. So yeah, let's continue watching this, but I love this one.
Looking for a fling or something more long-term, this site helps connect people to similar fandoms.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
All right, if you're 6
Okay.
feet or taller, there's a dating site for people just like you called Tall Friends. It's the best place to look for a relationship with all tall women and men, or if you just really want a tall partner.
Okay. And this site has users ghosted in a good way. GhostSingles.com is a site for those who actually want to date the dead.
What?
When looking for your ideal ghost, you choose how they died. If they died horribly, mysteriously, tragically, or suddenly, and they'll pair you up with.
Thing is, these things really probably exist.
all of those are real. Those are real dating apps.
Wow. Okay, so we saw this one, Bullet Passions, Tall Friends. Okay, it's the same ones. All right, so isn't he? I think this person's a TikTok creator, and he has like videos like with his kids and whatnot. Like I think it's him or not. Chat, let me know if you have TikTok, if you've ever seen him or not. But yeah, it looks a lot like a creator that's there. Pretty funny. So it says meettherightman.com. Well, it's meet the right man or woman. Article is 15 bizarre and weird dating sites that actually exist. In the wise words of Kenny Rogers, there is someone for everyone, and I mean everyone. So, let's see. Okay, listen to this one. Ugly Schmucks, a super funny dating app. Ugly Schmucks is one of the funniest dating apps as far as the concept is concerned. It caters to people who consider themselves unattractive. What is strange is that a lot of them aren't. However, the site does a great job of creating a safe space where everyone can feel comfortable. You know, beauty is subjective to how much you love yourself. So, obviously, the more you love yourself, the more acceptance you have of yourself, the better you view yourself. Yeah, I feel like it goes hand in hand, and I met someone once that was what many people would consider to be a very attractive person, and they just couldn't see it. They just couldn't see it at all, no matter what people would say. And I don't know, it always struck me kind of weird, like why? But it's just, you know, it's that lack of self-love or self-confidence, I guess. But what really is ugly? Because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And what you may think is ugly could be a treasure for someone else. Could be like the most beautiful thing someone else saw. So, I don't know. I think that my own personal opinion, what constitutes beauty and ugliness is who you are. Because there are plenty of ugly people that quote unquote what society deems as ugly. That are probably the best people you're ever going to meet in your life, and then vice versa. There could be like hugely attractive people that are the worst people in the world. Vice versa again. There could be that ugly person is the worst person ever, and the attractive person is the nicest, best person you're ever going to meet. I don't know, man. People are extremely different, but if beauty is in the eye of the beholder, then what really constitutes ugliness? There's a really interesting documentary about beauty standards and how beauty standards here in the States, for example, are completely different from, let's say, countries in Africa. So they compared the beauty standards of what people consider beauty here. You know, thin, long, tall, blah, blah, blah. But there are countries in Africa, for example, and this is because of the documentary. They show that. I'm not just pulling it out of my ass, but they talk about how there are, for example, tribes that when women marry, they give them like this special type of milk so that they can gain weight, because that's what's considered attractive in the beauty standard there, as opposed to how it's viewed in the States. Dude, some people here are considered attractive here, and they go other places and they're not considered attractive at all. And there are people that are here that are considered not attractive that go to other places in the world and they're considered pretty attractive. People oogle and google for them. So again, obviously I understand the humor, but me personally, I correlate beauty and ugly to who you are as a person, what you're giving towards, and always remember that, dude, beauty fades, but stupid is forever. So that is 100% true. All right, prescription for love. You got a prescription for love. This dating service is something special. Finding love when you are terminally ill, or you have a lifelong condition can be pretty tricky. There is the fact that you may have special needs, and then people see you mainly through pity goggles. This site cuts through all this and gives these people a real chance at love with people who understand the struggle. Oh shit. I thought for 1 second that it was like they're like hooked on like prescription medication or some shit like that, or they're like, I didn't know it was something serious like that. I didn't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. Meet an inmate. I'll make it a little bigger so that it doesn't skip over to the next ones. So, meet an inmate. When it comes to alternative and weird dating sites, this one is not that crazy. The fascination with incarcerated people is not exactly new to the society. However, a website that facilitates this is, and with more than 2 million people in jail, fish are abundant in this sea. We've talked about this before here. And the weird fascination that people have with marrying inmates or trying to get with people that are incarcerated. Chat, do you know the Chris Watts case? You've probably heard me mention this before here, but if you don't know the Chris Watts case, it's like one of the worst like murder cases out there. Guy was cheating on his wife, wanted to leave his wife but couldn't. So what he did was he just killed his wife and his children and put them in barrels and whatnot. Horrible. The worst of the worst. I mean, you would think that would be the stopping point of any human being in this world to ever want to contact this person. Stop. You're wrong. Because this fucker gets thousands of letters on a daily basis of men and women trying to get with this dude, trying to marry him, telling this dude that he is the love of their life. And I literally just took, I don't need to repeat the atrocities that this dude did. And he gets all these letters, and he gets fan mail, he gets letters of people, like emails and shit of like, he gets bags of them, people wanting to be with him. Is there some sort of association between, like, there has to be something psychological. I mean, there has to be some type of scientific information in regards to this, because I don't think this can just be something that is. So, we'll pose the question, why are people so attracted to inmates? Let's see. Alright, so this article was written by, well, it's found on archive.attn.com. It says, an expert reveals the psychology behind women who love men behind bars. This article was published March 7th, 2016, and it was written by Taylor Bell. So, it says, charm, intelligence, a solid career are all things women typically look for in a partner. But for some women, it's the men locked away in prison who really get their heart thumping. I am not a fan of it being specifically about women, because it's not only a woman problem. Men do it too. Men do it to other men. So it's not as if it's only a woman problem. But for the sake of the conversation that we're having, fine. Fuck it. I'll read it. But just know that this is not only a woman problem. Men do the same shit too. So, throughout the years, women have been attracted to men behind bars. In fact, California serial killer Richard Ramirez, convicted killer Charles Manson, along with Northern California killer Scott Peterson, have all received marriage proposals in prison despite their heinous crimes. And with the introduction of prison pen pal websites such as prisonpenpals.com, convictmailbag.com, meetaninmate.com, women can communicate easily with prison inmates. In the book Women Who Love Men Who Kill, author Sheila Eisenberg explores this phenomenon. The book contains countless interviews with women, psychiatrists, lawyers, social workers, prison guards, in hopes of shedding light on why women are drawn to men behind bars. The book has been featured on CNN, The Today Show, MSNBC, Good Morning America, and 2020, among other news outlets. So, ATTN had a chance to interview Eisenberg to talk about her book and interviews with these women. Here's what she had to say. So, first question. Were there any commonalities you found with the women who were attracted to men in prison? Eisenberg responds, the real crux of the whole thing is that these are all women who are damaged. In their earlier lives, they've been abused either by their parents, their fathers, their first husbands, their boyfriends, whatever. They've been sexually abused, psychologically, emotionally abused. These are women who've been hurt. And when you're in a relationship with a man in prison, he's in prison. He's not going to hurt you. He can't hurt you. So you're always in a state of control because you're the one who's on the outside. You're free. You can go in and you can visit him. You can decide whether to accept his phone calls. So, in a way, even though cons are very manipulative, that's why we call them con men, and they are manipulative with the women. It's still up to the woman to decide how far she wants to go, and she knows she can't be hurt. And every single woman I interviewed had been abused in the past, and that's what I found out. That was the big secret. So we obviously can now, we understand that there is indeed a commonality, and it makes sense. It makes sense. It's a vicious cycle, and it's, you know, it makes a lot of sense that they would seek men that are in prisons because they have that control over them. They have control over the situation. That makes a lot of sense. So, ATTN asks, what were the demographics of the women you interviewed? Eisenberg responds, they came from all different backgrounds, different socioeconomic classes, different levels of education. They were highly educated women. One woman had a PhD and was a college professor. Other women hadn't graduated from high school. Socioeconomic, there were rich women. There were poor women. There were women who are married, women who were single, women with children, women who didn't have children, all different kinds of women. The only thing they had in common, which I did notice as a common factor, was that there were a lot of Catholic women. So, seeing religion play into this. I'm curious how. So, ATTN asks, did the women feel satisfied in their relationships with inmates? Eisenberg responds, the women were generally as they described it, madly in love, desperately in love. They had fallen in love in a way that made them not see the world around them anymore. You know, it all what I call stage 1 super romantic love. That's the way they saw it. It's the kind of mad, passionate love that makes you lose your appetite, that makes you want to sing and dance. When you first meet someone and you're high as a kite on that person, they all use that language. I'm falling in love. I was blinded by love. I felt I was falling off of a cliff. And that was the initial reaction. That high, that capital R romantic love was kept up during the course of the relationship because the men were in prison, because they could not have a normal life with them. Nobody came home after work and took off his dirty socks and left them on the floor. Nobody said, oh, I forgot to pick up the laundry. Nobody said, you take care of the kids tonight, I'm tired. It was none of the normal give and take of a marriage or a live-in companion relationship. It was always, will there be a lockdown? Will they let me in to see him? What's his lawyer going to say? Will he get paroled? All these dramatic, super dramatic, melodramatic things. I don't know, and adding to that, it's the feeling needed. People love to feel needed. People love that sense of urgency from someone else that they are important in some type of aspect. Everyone wants to feel important by someone else. So it makes a lot of sense. You know, I'm not, again, blind to the circumstances that could lead someone to want to look for a relationship with someone that's in prison. But the fact of the matter is it still happens and it's still there and it should still be discussed, and there's scientific factual data behind it. So I guess that's where the question comes from. But I mean, it's weird and shit, but you're an adult and that person's an adult, and as much as that is wrong in certain ways, like I mean, it's not the worst thing someone can do. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. So, we'll continue. And of course, visiting someone in a prison where you're surrounded by a razor wire and high brick walls and mean-looking guards makes your relationship almost like Cinderella and the prince. Everybody's out to get you. They're trying to keep you apart. It's very dangerous. It's so romantic. So having a relationship with a man in prison like that for murder is almost like reading a romance novel where you never know what's going to happen next. You never know if they'll let you into the prison or they're on lockdown or what's going to happen. And I'll add to that, and you're the main protagonist. ATTN asks, did these women feel guilty that they were in a relationship with someone who has committed a terrible crime? Eisenberg responds, most of the women I interviewed managed to find a way to rationalize away or mitigate the crime and excuse it. He didn't really necessarily mean to be that murderer. There was even one woman I interviewed who was a juror on a jury that convicted a guy of murder, and then she went to visit him in prison and fell in love with him. Dude, there's this really, really excellent limited series that was on HBO a few years ago. What is the name of it? The Night of. It was released in 2016. That way maybe it has IMDb has like the poster or something. This one, The Night of, starring Riz Ahmed. I didn't know he was a rapper. I didn't know that until like 2 or 3 days ago. But nonetheless, amazing limited series. Wow, that's all I can say. But in a certain episode, he's imprisoned, and his lawyer is I'd say like the main lawyer's assistant is helping him in his case. And in one episode she goes into the cell where he's at, and he starts like flirting with her, and like I don't remember if they end up like banging or not, but I know they end up making out, and like she loses her job, she loses her position and everything. But yeah, it was that I think it's that she saw this like persona and this like toughness and like this whole thing and the need to want to help and nurture and shit, and yeah, she ends up making out with him, and I think he bangs her, but I don't remember. Nonetheless, highly recommend. It's still on HBO. Amazing show. It's only like 8 episodes long, but definitely worth the time. But that I just read reminded me so much of that specific scene. Okay, so. And afterwards she said, you know, he wasn't really guilty, and I don't know why I convicted him. They find ways to excuse the murder. Like one woman I remember, she said he was awkward, and when the door hit him in the arm, the gun went off. Another one said his friends were all drinking and doing drugs, and he got carried away and he didn't mean to do it. The story is not in my book, but if I was going to write a sequel, this would have been in the book. It was a young woman who this young guy murdered her grandmother. And for some reason, she started corresponding with him because she wanted to understand what kind of person could murder a defenseless little old lady. And she ended up getting involved with him. And I said to her on the phone, how could you do that? I mean, didn't you feel angry? She said, he's a changed man. He's not the same person he was. That's another big one. He did it, but he's not the same person. He found God. He found religion. Or, he's sorry. ATTN asks, how did these women get in contact with these men? Eisenberg responds, back when I wrote the book, it was published in 1990. There was no internet, so it was pretty organic. The women who got into relationships were generally either women who worked in prisons, guards or teachers or lawyers. Some of prison lawyers got involved. There's a girl's famous story which is about a lawyer who got involved with her client and she helped him escape. so that was organic. And then there were also pen pals. Somehow, prisoners could get ads in magazines and women wrote to them. I guess they were lonely or whatever. But now, today, we have prison pen pal websites, and women can go to those websites and find men to communicate with. ATTN asks, unlike the women you interviewed, other women purposefully seek out criminals of great notoriety. Why do you think some women pursue a relationship with men who have committed famous crimes? Eisenberg responds, we live in a society where we have people who are famous for being famous, like the Kardashians. And when I wrote the book, which was released in 1990, we didn't even have people like that. Well, I don't know about that, but I think the first person like that was Paris Hilton. She was famous for being famous. She didn't do anything. Since then, we've had a whole slew of people who are famous for being famous. And now with social media, we have people famous for being famous. So now being famous is even more desirable than when it was when I wrote the book. So how are you going to get famous if you can't make someone on social media read your blog or go to your Instagram or go to your Facebook page? You're not going to get famous by writing a letter to Brad Pitt because he's not going to answer you. But if you write a letter to the Boston Marathon bomber, he might answer you. So it's a very logical way to get famous. ATTN asks, was there anything that shocked you about these women? Eisenberg responds, what shocked me is the huge numbers, how common it is, how these guys have women all over the place. Your notorious killers have groupies. I mentioned that talking about Chris Watts. And now with social media, every one of us who gets involved emotionally with another person, we're doing it to fulfill our own psychological needs. And with the women I interviewed, they were all damaged goods, basically. Their needs were such that they couldn't really find satisfaction or get their needs met in a normal, healthy relationship. They had to find love behind the prison walls. Shit. Let's see.
Charlie, you were not hurt a fly. Literally.
This is Charles Manson's girlfriend, 53 years his junior.
He's always there for me emotionally.
This is the wife of Eric Menendez, one half of the infamous Menendez brothers, the ones who brutally killed their parents. She made a rare appearance on Larry King in 2004.
The holding of the hands when I'm with him is a big thing. You wouldn't think so, but just being next to him.
They're the women who will never know what it's like to do dinner and a movie. That's because their spouses have no hope of getting out of prison. Serial killer John Wayne Gacy and Ted Bundy, among the other notorious murderers who were in committed relationships before they were put to death. Who would decide to get involved with a prisoner?
I like him for who he is, and I would like him no matter where he was.
This is 40-year-old Chelsea Morningstar. Her boyfriend Charles is serving time in a maximum security prison in Delaware for armed robbery, incarcerated since 2005. They've been together for about a year. Why date someone in prison?
Because the option is not to date him at all. Nobody else makes me happy.
Goddamn.
And so it's worth it to put up with all the garbage that comes along with him being in there.
Chelsea says she knew him before he went to prison, but they weren't together then. It was only after he was behind bars that she made the conscious decision to get into a relationship with him.
He makes me a better person. I make him a better person.
There's a host of websites dedicated to helping convicts make connections with names like Inmate Passions and Meet an Inmate. They're complete with pictures and profiles. David in a Texas prison writes, I'm an easygoing, good-hearted man who knows how to treat a woman. William at a correctional facility in Michigan says, I'm a God-fearing man looking for a friend, someone who's down to earth and is into keeping their word. And Daniel, locked up in Ohio, writes, I have a warm personality and find it easy to make friends. I love to cook and like to write. Experts say oftentimes there is
Like
a
to cook there, huh?
psychological condition associated with those who seek out convicts.
Hybristophilia is the sexual
It's so weird, dude. Like, these people are out of their minds.
outrageous act, and usually the more violent.
But then again, you know what? I mean, fuck it, to each their own, dude. It's, I don't know, man. I like, it sucks that people do this, but
the act, the deeper the attraction.
I would prefer that he not be in prison. I would prefer that he be here and that we be able to have a normal relationship.
But here's the question. Would they date him if they were not in prison? Because if the whole shtick of it is what we read, that it's, you know, they're in prison so they have like better control over the situation and whatnot, but if they're not in prison anymore, they were to be released, do you think that they would still date the person? I don't know. I think the whole allure of it is the fact that they're in locked up. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Chelsea says she didn't deliberately seek a prisoner to fall in love with. It just happened. Just like it has between so many other women and their partners. People most would never associate with tenderness and affection.
That is so weird, dude. You know what the weirdest part is? That person that's with Charles Manson looks just like all the other ones when he was incarcerated because of the Sharon Tate thing. It's like his, well, not anymore because he's long gone. But yeah, I don't understand. Are there not like men that do this? Because I know come on now. Because we're only seeing it from one perspective of like women loving convicts, but no, look. Nope. There's absolutely nothing. That sucks. You may ask how we got to this point. We were reading about like weird dating sites, and this one caught my eye. An inmate, I had mentioned Chris Watts, and that's how we stemmed into, because he gets like a lot of love mail and like fan mail and shit. So that made us go down this path of reading about like inmates and whatnot. And obviously we started this because of where'd it go? Well, we were watching the dating sites, and it stemmed from the conversation of Bumble. Bumble being a dating site, I guess, a dating app, and that's what sparked the whole looking at like weird dating sites and whatnot, which originally stemmed from the video that we watched about AI and regulations. So I'm telling you, here at the King Angel Show, we start with one topic and we just end up with something else completely different that then leads us back to the original topic that we were at. Love it. Okay, so next one, diaper mates. Okay. Hey, man. If you're if it falls in the parameters of legality and it's consensual adults, then dude, I mean, by all means, man, like if they Diaper Mates is without a doubt one of the weirdest dating websites we've heard of. It's the only dating site that caters to the needs of adult babies and baby love and diaper lovers, and people attracted to this lifestyle. As with most other sites on this list, it gives members a judgment-free zone to express themselves and their needs, however unusual they are. So yeah, we're not gonna kink shame anyone. Whatever you're into, dude. People are into some weird shit. As long as it's, again, consensual adults. You know, it's within the legalities of parameters of legality, and we're good with that part. Bro, you want to wear diapers and shit? Man, do what your heart desires. Be happy. Horsey lover and equestrian singles. Numerous niche sites cater to animal lovers, so these ones are actually not that weird. However, they are a little unique as they cater not just to horse lovers, but fans of the open country and that lifestyle in general. Well, that's wonderful. There's plenty of people that like to like ride horses and like they have farms and collect them and stuff. It's pretty. Actually, there's a horse ranch pretty close to where I live. Not pretty close, but it's around the area and it's huge, massive. They have a whole bunch of horses there, so I can understand that. Vampire dating site. We read about this one. I care less about this. Farmer wants a wife. So this site runs in the UK and Ireland and is all about what it says in its title. It is designed for farmers living in the English and Irish countryside to find long-term partners. For the most part, the members are old men who are divorced, widowed, or just never married. Although there are some hot hunks there as well. Singles with food allergies. We read that one. And that's pretty interesting. Same one as the gluten-free singles. Dude, no judgment. You gotta eat, right? Just might as well just get with someone that understands what you're going through. It's probably going through the same thing too. And you guys have something to talk about. Have a common enemy. Sounds pretty good to me. Can do better. We read about this one. This is so awful. It's so awful because you have to put the picture of the person that you're with, and damn, people like literally judge the couple based off of the image without knowing anything about the people that are actually there. So okay, we saw clown dating, sea captain date. There is nothing sexier than a man in a uniform, and that is exactly what you can look forward to on this niche dating site. It brings together current and retired sea captains with singles both in and outside of the industry. It's a great site for sharing your love for the open sea and sailing in general. Well, it's not bad, dude. Hot sauce passions. Are you tired of explaining your love for spicy food and why you keep adding hot sauce, peppers, or any other chilies to everything from fries to cereal? Yeah, I've seen people do that. Put hot sauce in their cereal. Are you looking for someone who will love you for who you are and help brighten up your bland love life the way hot sauce does? Damn. If this is you, then Hot Sauce Passions is a fantastic website to sign up to. I can get behind this. Hell yeah, I love spicy food. Tall friends. Whatever. Tall people. Coming from someone that's not very tall. Y'all make it so hard for us to see concerts, though. Like, damn. Why? If you're a tall person and you go to concerts or festivals, like, why do you have to stand in the front? You already have the advantage of being able to see things better than everyone else. You know, you occupy so much space. I can't see. But you're not invisible. Like, I can't see past you, so... Yeah, us short people, we have to live our lives tapping people's shoulders and shit. Like, hey, bro, you gonna let me watch this too? Can you at least, like, kind of, like, open your arms a little bit or something? Something so I can watch the same stage that you're watching the performance of the artist that we both paid the same amount of money to watch. Fucker. It's a short versus tall kind of thing. But then again, tall people do help me when I'm at the supermarket and I can't reach things. I always, if I see a tall person, I'll be like, hey bro, man, can you help me? I'll be like, hey sis, can you help me? To get this shit off the top shelf and I can't reach. I have no shame in asking for help when it comes to that. But I'm offended when tall people stand in front of me in concerts. Please don't do that. From the short community here, I'm advocating for us, tall people. Let us stand in front of you. It's not gonna change your view of the concert at all. Oh, the contrary, you're gonna be helping someone. Dude, life made me short for a reason. Okay, we're gonna finish watching this video that stemmed the whole conversation of talking about dating sites because this is about Bumble. After that, I'll finish reading the article. I'm not gonna sidestep anymore. I'm not gonna promise it, but I'm gonna try not to sidestep, and I will finish reading that article and then we'll call it a day for today's stream. It's lunchtime. Join the Discord so we can continue the conversation. King Angels Entertainment Lounge, and yeah, we'll watch something today. I'm in the mood to watch a horror movie, and again, it's just I don't want to put it on without having actual people watching it with me. So join me, please. Let's hang out. Moving on.
Yeah, it's a great question, and we have a program that we call Bumble IRL, and the whole point of that program is to create real life experiences that singles are going to try and meet people in real life. So we really view our competition as other dating apps, as other online players. We don't view IRL as competition. We view that as success, right? We view you actually meeting somebody that you like in real life as success. And if we can help you go to a bar and find somebody who happens to be there, that's great. So we've been leaning into location, into events, into locations that are places where singles want to go. We are leaning into how do we connect you by interest so that we know that you are both interested in soccer and want to go see a soccer game, or you're both interested in wine and hey, let's go to a wine bar. So we're really trying to make sure that whoever we connect is being connected so that they can have a successful first, second, third date, and hopefully a successful relationship in real life. And in real life is not a competitor, it's really a complement to the business.
Tarek, I want to go back to the AI debate here. And if I read your earnings call right, you're now using AI to help, I guess, people improve their profiles, put up better photos. How does that hurt the dating experience? If I show up and I can't deliver on this perfect image, I don't know, maybe and the date goes bad, I'm off the platform. It hurts my chances of future dates, no?
Well, so I think AI is doing a couple of different things. I think the first part is it's really helping you. It's helping remove some of the friction. It's helping you make the choices that you're already making in the dating app. So we're not altering photos. We're not adding filters. We're not doing things like that change who you are. What we're trying to do is say, if you're setting up a profile and you've got 8 photos, here's the one that's likely to work the best of the ones that you currently have. We want to maximize the chances that you are successful as your authentic self. And that is a really important piece. AI for us is really a complement. It's an assistant in that dating experience. We're also using it to help match people so that we can figure out what you're interested in and who you are and help you find the most compatible, the most curated set of matches. And we think that leads to more success on the platform, not less. We are all about success for us is finding you that connection that is special and that you want to continue.
What about for people who are using AI to write their profiles? I mean, that feels like not necessarily the most authentic representation of yourself or your own way of thinking if you're just saying, this is what's going to be successful for me, and what the response rate is probably going to look like if I have AI write this versus me putting my own authentic words into explaining or describing myself.
Yeah, one of the biggest concerns people have with online dating is it a real person, and is the person representing themselves in the right way? And we think that
But I don't know, wouldn't it? I don't think that would make any difference if you really think about it. Because why? Like, how would you know? Obviously, like if you like literally just copy paste something that you ask on ChatGPT, then you can kind of figure out if it's being used like that. But there is no real way for you to figure out if a text is written like that. Some people just some people write really well. Like some people don't use like they don't do like youth talk, like I've heard some people refer it to, like they don't shorten words, or like there's people that actually like write legitimate whole sentences with the whole thing, that then you might find that weird, but like why am I saying this? But yeah, we live in a time when words are shortened, and you don't write full things. They'll write like combinations of letters and shit that will mean something. But I don't know. I think that would be a pretty beneficial, and no one would really notice that if you change a few words here and there, not make it sound so robotic. But yeah, I don't know. Me personally, I think that question, I understand why he's asking it, but I'm not fully like I don't see what the problem is, or I don't understand where the difference would be between like one and the other. So who gives a shit if you use ChatGPT to write your profile? Like, wouldn't that be better than having all this grammatical mistakes and sentences that make no sense? There's someone on TikTok that makes videos of that, and she posts descriptions of like what people write about themselves on dating apps, and dude, they definitely need to use ChatGPT because their shit it makes absolutely no sense. So if anything, Bumble should have an option for you to use ChatGPT to create your profile, not having to these weird, nonsensical sentences and paragraphs that only the person that wrote it understands what the hell they're saying. Come on now.
AI can be very helpful in that it can detect bots. It can help keep you safe. It can actually keep conversations safer. We can say, "Ooh, do you really want to say that?" before you send a message. So there's a lot of really things that AI is doing already today inside of our app that is helping to improve the experience. And it's going to be what we know works the best is when you can bring your authentic self to the dating experience that is inside of the app and in real life. To the earlier question.
I have a question for you, chat. I don't know the answer. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole, but I'll just ask the question. But if someone writes something using ChatGPT, and it's something that's against someone or something like, I don't know, does that violate like someone's First Amendment? Like, can ChatGPT eventually, or not eventually, like at the moment now, could that be used to infringe someone's First Amendment rights? Or can it be used against you as an infringement on your First Amendment rights? I am tempted, but I'm not going to do it. But I still pose the question because I see that one of the reasons why I think that AI should be regulated, amongst many other reasons that you've already heard me say, but think about it, like, the parameters that AI currently has, is that an infringement on someone's First Amendment right? Not being able to say certain things or like research certain topics? I'll give you an example. When I was preparing the last batch of topics for the topic jar, ChatGPT didn't allow me to ask. Like, I asked for a list of exotic animals and it refused it, and it told me no, that it wasn't going to give it to me because exotic animals are sought out by human beings and they're going extinct and whatnot. But it doesn't really know what I'm asking it for. Like, for all ChatGPT knows, I'm just asking it because I'm curious. But it didn't give me the information. Does that infringe my First Amendment right? I don't know. I'm just being curious. I have no idea. But it may not make sense, but it still poses the question as to how something like that, how AI will start like going against like basic human rights, I guess. I don't know. I'm just curious. It could be not. It could be I'm just making all this up, or it's all in my head and whatever the case may be. But still a valid question regardless. At least that's what I think. So chat, if you know, let me know. If you're watching this in a later date, if you're watching the snippet of this, comment. Let me know what you think. I'm actually pretty curious.
We think that AI can really be helpful there, and we have a very big focus inside the company on what we call kind connections. How do we make sure that the connections that you're making are kind, that they're safe, that they're authentic and real? And we think that AI is going to be very helpful in helping us accomplish that. But we have to be vigilant. We don't want people out there misrepresenting themselves, and we are a community that prides ourselves. Our members really believe in the power of community and in the quality that we bring to the Bumble, to all of our experiences in the Bumble app.
A good number of folks, Tarek, are concerned about a recession this summer and really continuing into the fall. how do you think that would impact the dating industry and human connection?
Well, I think if we learned one thing in the pandemic, it's that people want to connect. People need to connect. People, there is, a Surgeon General said it just, I think it was last week, that there's a real crisis of loneliness out there. And so we know that the demand for connection, the demand for dating is really just, and not just robust, it's indestructible. It's really something that is, you see it in boom times, you see it in recessions. What we have to do is make sure that we are helping people break out of that. Recessions can be lonely times, they can be stressful times, and we know that the connection business is one that can really help people at a very human level, and in a very, very tangible way. And so we are all about how do we make sure we bring those connections to life, and help you do it in a way that is suited to your lifestyle, to your economic means, etc.
Tarek, thanks so much for taking the time. We really appreciate it, and hopping on here with Yahoo Finance. Tarek.
Nice. That was pretty good. Very good explanation. Alrighty, so I'll finish reading this article. There's a Google Cloud launches AI-powered tools to accelerate drug discovery, precision medicine, and then we'll call it a day for this live stream. Like I said before, join the Discord, King Angel's Entertainment Lounge. Let's watch a movie tonight. I'm down. Yeah. Alright, so we read about the first one, which was Target and Lead Identification Suite. Now, let's move on to the next one, which is Multiomics Suite. So, Google Cloud's second solution, the Multiomics Suite, aims to help researchers tackle another daunting challenge, genomic data analysis. Oh, I'm so tempted. Okay, I'm sorry. I need to know what this is. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this means. And I'm curious, and I'm gonna go haywire if I don't look for it. So, what is genomic data science? Genomic data science is a field of study that enables researchers to use powerful computational and statistical methods to decode the functional information hidden in DNA sequence. Wow. Cannoli, dude. Alright, so I'm reading off of genome.gov, which is the National Human Genome Research Institute. Oh, so just a bunch of smart people. Ah, damn. Oh, these people make me feel so, like, dumb in a good way. But, there's just so much I don't know about, and there's just so much information, and there's just, holy shit, dude. Okay, so genomic data science. As humans dig deeper into the genome, the analysis and interpretation of the genomic data collected are helping to better understand human health and disease, while also bringing up questions about privacy and ethics. Okay, the big picture. Genomic data science is a field of study that enables researchers to use powerful and computational and statistical methods to decode the functional information hidden in DNA sequences. Estimates predict that genomics research will generate between 2 and 4 exabytes of data within the next decade. Holy shit. I didn't even know I didn't even know what an exabyte is. My wife probably knows all this. And she's so smart. Alright. Our ability to sequence DNA has far outpaced our ability to decipher the information it contains. So genomic data science will be a vibrant field of research for many years to come. Performing genomic data science carries with it a set of ethical responsibilities, as each person's sequence data are associated with issues related to privacy and identity. Wow. How it affects you. As biomedical research projects and large-scale collaborations grow rapidly, the amount of genomic data being generated is also increasing, with roughly 2 to 40 million gigabytes of data now generated each year. Researchers are working to extract valuable information from such complicated and large datasets so they can better understand human health and disease. Okay, so I'll read this and we'll go back. So, Oh, what is genomic data science? Genomic data science is a field of study that enables researchers to use powerful computational and statistical methods to decode the functional information hidden in DNA sequence. Applied in the context of genomic medicine, these data science tools help researchers and clinicians uncover how differences in DNA affect human health and disease. Genomic data science emerged as a field in the 1990s to bring together two laboratory activities. One, experimentation, generating genomic information from studying the genomes of living organisms. Two, data analysis, using statistical and computational tools to analyze and visualize genomic data, which includes processing and storing data and using algorithms and software to make predictions based on available genomic data. Both activities help researchers acquire and gain insights from the vast amounts of genomic data. Mamma mia. Okay, so how big is 40 exabytes? Genomics projects will generate 40 exabytes of data in the next decade. So this is a visual representation of... so each shark equals 100 million gigabytes of data. That is crazy. Holy shit, that's a lot of data, dude. Wow. Man, that is crazy. Okay, so Colossal Biosciences, a biotechnology company that aims to use DNA and genetic engineering to reverse extinction, has been using the multiomics suite in its research. As a startup, Colossal did not have the internal infrastructure necessary to organize or decipher massive quantities of genomic data. One human genome sequence alone requires more than 200 gigabytes of storage. And researchers believe that they will need 40 exabytes to store the world's genomic data by 2025, according to the National Human Genome Research Institute. Holy shit. That's 40 exabytes of data. The Institute estimates that 5 exabytes could store every word ever spoken by humans, so building the technologies to support genomic data analysis is not a small task. As such, the Multiomics Suite aims to provide companies like Colossal with the infrastructure they need to make sense of large amounts of data so they can spend more time focusing on new scientific discoveries. If we had to do everything from scratch, that's the power of Google Cloud, right? Colossal's Vice President of Strategy in Computational Sciences, Alexander Titus, told CNBC in an interview, "We don't have to build that from scratch, so that definitely saves us time and money." Researchers' ability to sequence DNA has historically outpaced their ability to decipher and analyze it. But as technology has improved in recent years, genomic data has unlocked new insights into areas like the genetic variations associated with disease. Google Cloud's Manier said it could ultimately aid in the development of more personalized drugs and treatments. In 2021 alone, 2/3 of drugs approved by the Food and Drug Administration were supported by human genetics research, according to a paper published in the journal Nature. Manier believes the Multiomics Suite will help encourage further innovation. Ben Lamb, CEO of Colossal, said the Multiomics Suite is the reason the company has been able to carry out research on any reasonable timeline. Colossal started piloting Google's technology late last year, and, as a result, Lamb said the company is on target to produce a woolly mammoth by 2028. Yeesh. Without the Multiomics Suite, Lamb said he thinks the company would have been set back over a decade. He says we would not be anywhere near where we are today. Prior to using Google Cloud's suite, much of Colossal's data management was done manually using spreadsheets. I don't know if you've ever worked with spreadsheets before. And I am like on like I've had to learn from other people. Other people have had to explain to me how to do many of the things in spreadsheets. The fact that they had all of their data on spreadsheets and it was done manually is crazy to me. Holy shit. Even with all of the different ways that you can, you know, cut steps, like using when you're using spreadsheets and whatnot, that's still a lot of data to store on that. So I could only imagine how long and how big those spreadsheets are. That's what she said. Yeesh. And all done manually, huh? Wow. Okay, so he said it would have been a massive burden on the company to try to build the more complex tools it needed for research. We're no longer in small data when it comes to biology, said Colossus Titus. We're thinking on the scale of how do we get insights into 10,000, 20,000, 10 million years of evolutionary history. And those questions just aren't answered without a scalable computing infrastructure and tools like cloud computing and multiomics. Wow. I'm telling you, dude, in every field, every single field, AI is going to end up taking over. Extremely beneficial. And, you know, it's helping towards the improvement of the human race, and we are, you know, definitely going to be able to help so many people out with this. But, you know, nonetheless, you already heard me multiple times in this episode say it. You've heard me say it before as well, but again, it still needs to be regulated, because just as much as there are so many benefits of AI, there are plenty of negatives and disadvantages, and I'm glad that there are certain states, what was it, like 6 of them, that are taking steps towards some type of regulations when it comes to AI. But it needs way more. It definitely does. This was wonderful. I had an amazing time. I always have a great time here with you guys, but you know, Coffee, the News, and Us, another morning hangout is it's so, I don't know, man. It's just it feels so great to do it. I'm informed as well, because just as much as I'm reading it to you, I am reading it for myself as well, and I'm learning about all these things. We go down rabbit holes, we watch videos, non-copyright, but we read different websites. One topic leads to another, that leads to another, and again, I personally love it. I love every time I'm here with you, it being something different. Like you never know what topic we're gonna talk about here. You never know what we're gonna end up watching. Yeah, as long as we do it together and we all learn and have fun together and whatnot. I was putting chat up because I didn't have it, but yeah, I'm hungry as fuck. I can tell you that much. I went on a little long today, a little longer than normal, but oh well. I love informing you and informing myself as well, and I just have lots of fun here. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. You know where to find me, all across social. There you go. I did it correctly this time. I'm all across social media: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. If you want to further support me, you can use your Amazon Prime right here on Twitch, and that would help me out immensely. You can subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me here on Twitch as well. You can join my Discord, King Angel's Entertainment Lounge. It's free. We'll watch movies, album listens, a little bit of everything, documentaries, science, art. Oh wait, hold on. See, that's why I want to get that other green screen, because I hate having to sit in one specific spot, and I can't move that much because then it looks weird on the edges, and I hate that. If you want to further support me, you can join my Patreon community. It's $2 a month, and you get a whole bunch of benefits. Full unedited videos, private Discord channels, live streams that are exclusive to Patreon members, that it's done on Discord and those said private channels, and a whole bunch of other things. Videos that are only exclusive to Patreon members, and much more. And I'll be adding a lot more benefits to that Patreon list as well. This is my bread and butter, so whatever way helps. But if not, dude, join the Discord. It's free. Join follow me over on Twitch. You can like my videos on YouTube, comment on them, let me know what you think. You can share it out to your loved ones, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. And that's about it. You have a very wonderful day. I'm gonna go make myself some food now. Fill the stomach with some loving. This is the King Angel Show. I'm King Angel, a San Francisco Bay Area live streamer and content creator here on YouTube and Twitch. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. for Random Topic Day. Have a good one. Peace.